That's ETHOS.com/term.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
The Trump administration is designating the Lebanese, Jordanian, and Egyptian chapters of the Muslim Brotherhood terrorist organizations.
Founded in Egypt in the 1920s, the group is seen as the origin of political Islam. Its leaders claim it has renounced violence decades ago, but some offshoots have armed wings. Critics, including autocratic governments, view it as a threat. The Brotherhood has a complex history with involvement in social services, militancy, and politics. It has spread across the Middle East, influencing groups like Hamas. The U.S. claims these chapters support violence and destabilization, impacting regional and American interests. Keith Peters, Washington.
Russia has launched another major drone and missile attack on Ukraine, targeting the country's power grid. Ukrainian President Zelensky says Russia fired nearly 300 drones, 18 ballistic missiles, and 7 cruise missiles at 8 regions overnight. News and analysis, townhall.com. Following some pretty substantial blowback, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer is doing an about-face on requiring every Brit to have a full digital ID card.
Officials confirmed on Wednesday that it won't be compulsory for citizens and residents to show a digital ID card in order to get a job. The government says detailed plans for digital cards will be set out following a full public consultation, which will be launched shortly. Starmer had announced in September that you will not be able to work in the UK if you do not have a digital ID card. It's as simple as that. I'm Charles Dillard.
China's trade surplus has surged 20%, hitting a record $1.2 trillion. That's even with President Trump's tariffs. China's surplus rivals the GDP of a lot of countries. The Chinese exports rose by 5.5% last year. More on these stories at townhall.com.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Good morning. We are broadcasting live from our studios in downtown Nashville, Tennessee. It is Wednesday, January 14th, 2026. Time for the Morning Rundown, brought to you every day at this time by our good friends at the Glock Store, glockstore.com, located just a few miles from the airport, right here in Nashville, Tennessee. So here we go. Here's the Morning Rundown for Wednesday, January 14th, 2026. Number 1, Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio are meeting in the White House today with the Greenland Foreign Minister and the Danish Ambassador to the United States. Number 2, President Trump says securing Greenland for the United States is in the national security interest of the USA. By the way, it's in the Western Hemisphere. Can we say Donroe Doctrine? Number 3, thousands of protesters have been killed by the brutal Islamist dictatorship in Iran. President Trump says help is on the way. We'll see what that means. Number 4, leftist anti-ICE protesters continue to ramp things up in Minneapolis, and ICE keeps arresting those protesters. Legal expert Phil Klein will join us in our next segment to talk about the legal side of all of this. Number 5, boys and girls sports oral arguments were held at the Supreme Court yesterday, and the worst Supreme Court justice in history, Ketanji Brown Jackson, continued to show she's a DEI hire and not the brightest bulb. Number 6, the Tennessee General Assembly convenes today. Education scholarships will be at the top of the list. Number 7, State Rep Justin Jones, the Democrat, young communist socialist from Nashville, and a bunch of leftist kooks held an Abolish ICE protest at the Tennessee State Capitol yesterday. Tom Pappert will join us at the bottom of the hour to talk about that. And number 8, anti-ICE protesters pretending to get run over by a Tennessee Highway Patrol vehicle in Memphis. We got the goods to show how phony that was. Again, Tom Pappert will talk about that with us. Number 9, this is going to be a lot of fun. Remember the Music City Miracle? Well, the guy that made the touchdown, Kevin Dyson, that dynamic play that got the Titans into the Super Bowl, and then they lost because the pass to him on the last play of the game, he fell short by 1 yard. They lost the Super Bowl to the Rams that year. He is now an educator, and he will be talking with us in studio in the second hour about the new charter school that he's starting here in Davidson County, the Music City Academy. And finally, number 10, in hour 3, the very best Trump impersonator in the world, Sean Farage, will join us in hour 3. Lots to talk about with him. Well, that's the morning rundown brought to you by our friends at the Glock Store, glockstore.com. This is when I get to talk about my friend Lenny McGill and his incredible Glock Store. For years now, you've been hearing me talk about how the Glock Store is everything Glock. Hey, that's why Lenny named it the Glock Store. Well, have you heard about the latest Glocks, the Gen 6? Well, you can bet Lenny has. Lenny tells me the new Gen 6 Glocks have a new optic system called RTF6 texturing, an enlarged beaver tail, flat-faced trigger, trigger guard undercut, and an integrated thumb rest. That's also known as the gas pedal. I don't know what that means, but Lenny McGill knows what all that means. In fact, Lenny tells me the Gen 6 Glocks are definitely the most refined Glocks ever produced. And as you might expect, the Glock Store has already received their first shipment of Gen 6 G17s, 19s, and 45s, and they were literally gone before they even arrived at the warehouse. That's because Glock Store is letting you pre-order these new Glocks, so you'll be the one to get these on your hands first. And as a thank you for your pre-order, you'll get an extra magazine when you receive your new Gen 6 Glock. Here's what you do. Go to glockstore.com, click on the Gen 6 tab at the top of the website. Place your pre-order for the Glock or Glocks of your choice. When they ship your new Glock to the FFL of your choice, or you pick it up at the Glock Store retail showroom here in Nashville, the Glock Store will throw in an extra magazine. Now, this is a limited time offer only for pre-orders and only from my friends at the Glock Store, the #1 source for Glock parts, accessories, and the new Gen 6 Glocks. Visit glockstore.com today. I promise you'll be glad you did. Okay, so much to cover today. Here we go. Donald Trump has a message for blue cities and blue states that have declared themselves sanctuary cities. In other words, if they have an illegal alien that they've arrested and they're in their jails and they're on bond and they want to release them, there will be an ICE detainer. And if they don't give over, as the sanctuary states are doing now, they're not giving over these illegal alien criminals to ICE for deportation. If they continue that, Donald Trump has a message. You're not going to get any federal funds. Here we go. Clip number 1.
We're giving 90-day notices to places like California, Scott. Right away, we're going to send out that notice. Who would bill the federal government as people poured into the state to send those people back because no country can afford to do it? No country can afford to take in millions of people, pay for their education, their health care, their hospitals. You just can't do it. And we all have a heart. You can't do it. But many of those people are murderers. They're people released from jails, prisons, mental institutions, insane asylums. They're people that are drug dealers. They're addicts. Additionally, starting February 1st, we're not making any payments to sanctuary cities or states having sanctuary cities because they do everything possible to protect criminals at the expense of American citizens, and it breeds fraud and crime and all of the other problems that come. So we're not making any payment to anybody that supports sanctuary cities.
Okay, so what does that mean? I mean, I think you're looking at least a dozen blue states, at least, aren't going to get federal money. That's good. And all of these cities that are, quote, sanctuary cities, they're not getting any money either. So Minneapolis won't. By the way, Fox and Friends, Griff Jenkins interviewed for about 17 minutes Jacob Fry, the mayor of Minneapolis. What a dodgeball artist that guy is. He should have been in that Ben Stiller movie, right? The simple question is, okay, mayor, if you don't want all these ICE agents rounding up the illegal alien criminals, here's what you do. You honor the detainer from ICE when you release a criminal. There's like 1,300 of them out in the streets. He didn't answer it. He dodged it. Okay, the other thing, I got to get to this in the A block. Ketanji Brown Jackson, clearly the worst Supreme Court justice in history. In oral arguments yesterday, You got to listen to what she was questioning. This is the oral argument about the case where the states of Idaho and West Virginia have said, look, boys cannot compete in girls' sports. And she's acting as a defense attorney. Let's play this clip right now.
We're indifferent to a person's gender identity and applying the law.
But the law actually operates differently, I think, for cisgender women and transgender women. That is, with respect to their desire to play on a team that matches their gender identity, cisgender women can do it, transgender women cannot.
Okay,
And
so how stupid is that? What cisgender? What does it? Cisgender means you were born a woman. You're born a girl. That's what the cisgender. Transgender means you're born a boy, and you've put your hand up and said, "I think I'm going to be a girl." And then you grow your hair out, you put makeup on, you wear dresses. Maybe you get some puberty blockers. Maybe you get something chopped off. Maybe you don't. That is absolutely ridiculous. Also, the three liberals, Sotomayor, Kagan, and Jackson, Ketanji Brown Jackson, were saying somehow, oh, it's not proven that boys are stronger than girls. Are you kidding? What about common sense? Hey, speaking of common sense, Phil Klein, the great Phil Klein, will join us after the break with his analysis of what's going on in Minneapolis. Back after this.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of Glockstore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at Glockstore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at Glockstore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
This is State Senator Mark Pouty. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pouty.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pouty, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
We are joined on our Zoom newsmaker line right now by one of the leading legal experts in the country, former Attorney General for the state of Kansas, now Professor of Law at Liberty University, Phil Klein. Good morning, Phil.
Good morning, Michael.
Phil, you wrote an outstanding commentary for us at the Tennessee Star and the Star News Network, Minneapolis Media and NGO Manipulation and the Cost of Instant Outrage. Tell us more about that, Phil.
Well, what we're continuing to witness, Michael, much of it in a cycle with each new event, is the modern American drama of the effort funded by foreign billionaires and fostered through NGOs to convert human tragedy into political capital. And so what you're witnessing is a deconstruction of any ability to find the truth, an instant judgment that is not interested in the persons involved in the tragedy, but only the political gain to be had. And so we're witnessing that in Minneapolis. We're witnessing it in our political discourse, and it is very harmful to a free society that is built on a foundation of justice, because justice needs truth before it is imposed, and truth takes time to understand, and we don't afford any time. It's instant outrage manufactured by much of it, foreign investment in NGOs to divide American society.
So you've got foreign investment, you've got this Swiss citizen, I think his name is Weiss, who's put billions in, and then you've got this guy, you got George Soros, who's, he's supposedly an American citizen right now, but has undermined America everywhere he can. And then this Singham fella who's been a Maoist and made some money with this company called ThoughtWorks, lives in Beijing now, married to the Pink Code head, and it's just actively fomenting everything to do to undermine the rule of law, but pretending to comply with the rule of law. Where does this go? Because they are aided and abetted by Democratic politicians who secure power from these kinds of relationships. I'm talking about Tim Walz, governor of Minnesota, Keith Ellison, attorney general of Minnesota, who just sued the federal government on ridiculous grounds, and Jacob Frey, another attorney, Villanova Law School graduate, who basically, is violating the law with his orders to not comply with detainers of our mice. Your thoughts on this, Phil Klein?
Well, you've touched on several things, Michael, and I go back to several decisions made by Congress and by our culture. First of all, the McCain-Feingold finance reform, which pushed money outside of the political parties. Our political parties were organized, love them or hate them, but they were organized in a much more transparent fashion than our nonprofit network. Political parties had to build a platform, and then they recruited candidates that believed in that particular ideology. That's no longer the case. The political discourse is controlled outside of the political parties, and the Democratic Party has been captured by extremists who pour billions into it. That's why you've seen the lurch to the left all the way over to socialism in the Democratic Party, is because that's where their money comes from. And so this is counterintuitive, but the way to take care of this problem is to repeal McCain-Feingold, re-strengthen the parties, and also eliminate nonprofit status, because you have the middle class of America funding foreign billionaires in their meddling in American culture. The other thing we need to do is we need to democratize education, which is controlled and centralized right now in many ways, and these billionaires have bought many of our institutions of higher education. And you do that all the way down to K through 12, through letting parents engage more in educational choices for their children, rather than the unions and the federal government dictate how education is going to occur. That's another area that we need to address. And we need to deregulate, because Marxism loves where you create choke points of power. And we've created them all through our society. We regulate barbers all the way up to attorneys and so forth. And in each one of those choke points, you will now see foreign money that is promoting ideas that's contrary to basic principles in America. These are the things that are systemic, that we've allowed to develop, and it's going to take a protected, long-term, dedicated effort to dissemble them.
That's a big list. Number one, repeal McCain-Feingold. Number two, eliminate nonprofits. Number three, democratize education. Those are all very worthy objectives. Politically, however, let's start with, they're all difficult. Let's start with McCain-Feingold. Everybody is virtue signaling about how that's helpful. Is there enough understanding of how that's undermined the traditional role of political parties to get legislation to change that?
Not amongst the media and not amongst the public. But I'm convinced that there are certain policymakers that understand that. They're just fearful of the politics of doing it.
Now let's talk about eliminating nonprofits. I mean, we try to navigate our way through the complex maze of nonprofit approval. You've got many different kinds of nonprofits. You've got the 501c3, where people make a donation and it's a tax deductible. You got to get like 6 to 9 months of bureaucratic approvals in the IRS that no one can understand, but you got to go through that process. Then you have 501c4s that allow you to advocate for certain political positions, but if you donate to that, it's not tax deductible. Where do you begin?
Well, you eliminate it. Americans were charitable prior to 1917. And that's when this deduction came about.
Yeah.
And, just truly is government licensing an idea. And when government license an idea, it's going to start to dictate to you what those ideas should be.
Yeah, no kidding.
And I faced that in forming a nonprofit. You remember the Lois Lerner and all that controversy.
Yeah.
And Michael, if you go, and I'm sorry you lost my video. Sorry about that.
You're back.
If you go
you're good.
Okay. If you go to history, you'll see one of the first steps of tyrannical governments is to use licensing to try to change or silence dissent. And we've witnessed it here. So in any event, are you still with me?
Yeah, we're with you. We're with you, Phil.
Okay, great. And
you're coming in loud and clear.
And you saw that. You saw that in the Biden censorship regime.
Yeah.
You don't turn over the licensing of ideas, the licensing of conscience, the determination of what is true to government, because it will always use that power to quash dissent. That's why we have the First Amendment.
You've done a great job in identifying the problem. You've done a great job in identifying the solution. But the key problem here is the political will to implement the solution. As much as I admire what you've done in terms of identifying the solutions, how do we get the political will to implement even one of these three major reforms?
Well, the Republican Party really is now a top-down party, and it needs to be a bottom-up party. We need to emphasize in the growth of the party that the primary decisions consistent with what we want to accomplish are made at the local level and stop federalizing everything. That requires congressmen to stop being the heroes and state legislators to be the heroes. Now, Michael, I know what you're going to say. This is all difficult, and it is. One of the problems with conservatives is they don't have vision. They have the attention span. I don't mean to condemn all conservatives. I'm talking about the funders. The funders and those who are engaged in the process have the attention span of a gnat. They want to know you're going to win the battle in the next 3 months.
Yeah, or else win the battle in the next 3 months, or we don't want to hear from you.
That's right.
Yeah.
And the reality is, this is the battle of our lifetime.
Yeah.
And if you truly care about saving America, and what's interesting is George Soros truly cares about destroying American exceptionalism. He says it's one of the greatest threats to world peace. He stated that. He's written that. And he is committed in a way that conservative donors are not. What President Trump needs to do is he needs to step out, pull the 10 billionaires together on the conservative side and say, look, we need to fund vision and talent, which means you don't fund my family. It's not about electing somebody in my family. It's not about who we're going to elect. It's about promoting American ideals. You guys need to pool the money, walk away, and let people.
I'm happy to be an ambassador to those 10 conservative billionaires, Phil. Would you like to join me with that? Well, thank you.
I don't know who they are, Michael, but that's what needs to happen.
Thanks so much. All right, Phil Klein, a great analysis. Appreciate you very much. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you.
Up next, the great Tom Pappert. Justin Jones, he of the long flowing hair, is at it again. Back after this.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation. Did you ever stop and think, why do the wealthy pay less taxes than we do? One reason, they take full advantage of the IRS tax code. Today's tax code is over 2 million pages. Who can read that? Remember the 2016 debate with Hillary Clinton? When asked why he doesn't pay more taxes, President Trump had the perfect answer. He said, if you don't like the current tax code, change it. I follow the very laws that you wrote. That's where Julio Gonzalez and his company, Tax Engineered Services, comes in. Julio's team looks at your taxes after they're done, but before you file them with the IRS. He doesn't get between you and your accountant. He reviews your taxes, makes his recommendations, and only gets 5 to 10% of what he saved you. No money up front, no cost. It's tax literacy for MAGA. He also sees what grants you may qualify for. For more information, text ETS to the number 26786. That's ETS to 26786. Text now.
When you're learning something new, experience matters. At Lifestyles Unlimited, we've spent over 30 years teaching people how real estate investing works and how to build income with a clear, step-by-step strategy. Our program is designed to help you learn what to do, why it works, and how to take action at your own pace. Join today for just $297, a 60% savings off the regular price. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
Is your pet ready for some pawsome fun? At Creekside Pet Hotel in Kennesaw, every day is a tail-wagging adventure. Whether they're romping with friends in day camp, enjoying a staycation in our cozy boarding, or getting pampered in our luxury spa, we make sure every furry guest gets the royal treatment. Happy pets, wagging tails, and the best care. What more could they ask for? Book your pet's perfect getaway today at creeksidepethotel.com or give us a call at 770-422-4700.
My fellow Americans, I have to tell you about my good friends at D.T. McCall & Sons. They have furniture and appliances and a lot more. They've been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years, and they're not going to rip you off. No hidden charges, no delivery charges, no charges for all of the crazy things. These are sick people at the lumber yards. These are very sick people. They charge you for cords and hoses and haul off. They charge you for all of these things. They call them hidden charges. It's the type of surprise that you don't want to see. It's like an October surprise, but it's worse. D.T. McCall & Sons, they're not going to do that. They're great people. They're going to give you a great deal. With locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, D.T. McCall & Sons will give you the deal of your life. Check them out today or go to dtmccalls.com.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We are joined on our Zoom Newsmaker line right now by the winner of the Dow Prize for the best local journalism in America, along with our executive editor, Christina Botteri, and yours truly, and our lead political reporter at the Tennessee Star and the Star News Network, the one, the only, Tom Pappert. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Michael. I think the executive orderer is a good title for Christina.
I think you're probably right. Well done. Tom, you know, it never gets old hearing that you and Christina and I won the Dow Prize for the best local journalism in the country. And look, that was 2025. 2026, I think we're going to go right after it and maybe go for even higher levels of journalistic excellence. And the reason for that, Tom, is because of just how dreadfully awful all elements of the regime media continue to be. Case in point, here locally in Nashville, you've got the synoptic, that is seen with one eye, local television stations, all owned by these big, large conglomerates. Scripps TV, which owns the CBS affiliate. Gray TV owns the NBC. Nexstar owns the ABC. And even, you know, Sinclair, which is purportedly conservative, they own Fox 17. And case in point, they all had big stories about the communist performative artist known as State Representative Justin Jones. He of the long flowing hair now. He had a protest at the Capitol with an Abolish ICE banner. Don't you get the feeling that this is all, you know, these are all the supporting cast for the Justin Jones supportive theater? And they bring them all in, and then the local TV stations go, oh, look at how brave Justin Jones is. Tell us about the details of this.
Well, Michael, the protest, I think you're right, because the protest had assembled earlier in the day, I think even before the legislative session began, and it's just a motley crew of local far-left protesters in Nashville. Most of them, many of them had LGBT flags, but some of them also had anti-ICE signs. Some of them had, like, Epstein file signs. It was really just, you pick your problem with conservatives, and you take it down to the state capitol because we're going to support Justin Jones, who later leader arrived with a abolish ICE banner as he proceeded to walk in circles around the rotunda shouting abolish ICE, you could see these synoptic press members just jostling. They were really throwing some elbows, Michael, to try to get a good view for their camera to capture a photo of Justin Jones. So this went on for, I guess, 2 or 3 minutes, really, until Justin Jones went into the Tennessee House of Representatives and continued what has become a tradition. He begins every single year, every legislative session. Justin Jones starts with a dramatic Bernie Sanders mixed with Malcolm X style speech in which he denounces every conservative. President Trump claims that Tennessee is under foreign occupation just about, and eventually gets muted by House leadership for abusing his privileges to use the microphone. And that's what we saw yesterday. And yet, as you said, all of the media, they act as though this is like a novel concept. It's just what Justin does every year.
I think we have that clip, and we'll play that here in a bit. But it's interesting because in the Tennessee House of Representatives, there are 99 members. I think, 74 of them are Republican and 25 are Democrat. And so Justin Jones is one of those Democrats. I don't think there are the 24 other Democrats. He's so nutty, with the exception of there's one. Gloria Johnson will hang out with him.
She was with him, by the way, in the video after he finished pacing around the rotunda with his banner, Abolish ICE. He goes and he stands in front of Gloria Johnson, and she just kind of has a smile of pride on her face. She's very proud of the young man.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got Gloria Johnson hangs out with him. Justin Pearson, who was the other member of the Tennessee Three that got thrown out of the House back in March of 23 for, basically taking over the House and trying to foment a riot. They were thrown out. They got voted back in. Big national scene. They raised a lot of money for it. But other than Gloria Johnson, I don't think any of the Democrats can stand this performative artist.
Well, it's very interesting because I think when Justin Jones first was elected, they were very excited. He's a young, dynamic activist. He's achieved some actual results in terms of like getting statues removed and other far left objectives in Metro Nashville. And I think they thought this could really help. This guy could raise the profile of the Democrats in Tennessee. And before you know it, maybe he'll run for a U.S. House seat or governor, and he can bring the Democrats back from the brink. And what they found out is that when you go for a Zoomer millennial type guy who really seems to have no coherent political ideology except that everything is bad, Trump is bad, America's bad, and we need to destroy it, well, that's not really something you can work with when it comes to filing legislation, building coalitions. He's really good at marketing, but yeah, I think you're right. When it comes to actually the business of running a government, the Democrats have realized he is no good ally.
And P.S., look at me. That's his whole theme. P.S., look at me. Oh, look at my long flowing hair.
I hate to. Someday I'm going to go bald after saying this, and then I'll really regret it. But it looks like he maybe is wearing one of those clips that you put in the back. He used to have a very modest ponytail, Michael, but now, as you say, it's long, it's flowing, it never moves. It is something substantial.
Well, here's the actual clip of Justin Jones yesterday at the Tennessee State Capitol. There he is at the center. He's got his Abolish ICE sign he's wearing. He's showing it to everybody. There's, about, 70 or 80 left-wing nutcases cheering on.
A photographer was just body checked by a THP guy. He wanted to get in and get his photo.
Here's the thing. We have a huge mental illness problem in America today. It's mostly concentrated in blue states and blue cities. And you saw right there evidence thereof of the mental illness problem. And these are just angry people. You've seen the clips of, there's innumerable clips of these awful angry white female urban liberals, right? And they're like unhinged. They're angry. There's one clip, there's one angle saying, well, they're just angry at men. And they're expressing their rage. Well, that's what we see. We've got this mass psychosis. And in blue cities and blue states, where they allow those suffering from mass psychosis to interrupt the normal operation of life without any law enforcement effort, as is the case in Minneapolis, then they're emboldened and you see more and more of it. Minneapolis, Minnesota, and Nashville, Tennessee, different situations. In Nashville, Tennessee, now Nashville, of course, is a blue city. It's not a sanctuary city, but it's probably 65-35. We hate Donald Trump in that crowd. And then Memphis actually, I think, is moving more towards Trump. I think. I don't know if you're seeing that as well, because people are seeing in Memphis, oh, crime is down. That's a good thing. So I would say, maybe Memphis was 65-35, but now it's moving 60-40, maybe 55-45 as they see the results. But then we've got all these knuckleheads in the regime media who show up, and let me find the craziest person out there and let me give them an opportunity to show the world how crazy they are. That's what the difference is. In Tennessee, the only people promoting that are the regime media, synoptic view, local television stations, the regular press, other than the Tennessee Star, and blue city Democrats do that. But the rest of us are sane. The state government and the state highway patrol, they don't put up with that stuff. Your thoughts on that, Tom Pappert?
Well, I think that's the most important difference in this case between Tennessee and Minnesota, is that there is a Republican state government. So the Tennessee Highway Patrol, who's in charge of the state capitol, was allowed to do their job. One can only imagine what, if this situation had gone down in Minnesota, what it might have looked like. Something tells me Justin Jones or whatever stand-in in Minnesota would have had a lot more company, a lot more supporters, and the police likely would have allowed them all to march into the House floor together, holding their abolish ICE signs. And I think you're right. I think that as a result of law and order being restored in Memphis, people are able to breathe, and they're going to, at the very least, the Democrat voter base in that city is probably not going to turn out for whatever candidate the Democrats come out with in 2026 or 8, simply because why vote? Things are going okay. Maybe they don't like Republicans, but why get involved? The interesting thing, another interesting difference, I think, between Tennessee and Minnesota, or perhaps it's a similarity, is the media is totally disconnected with the people, because you can pull out your phone and see Justin Jones from Libs of TikTok. I think that clip had like 1 million views the last time I looked,
right,
per sharing it. Whereas if you go to the local media, you have to wait till the following morning, or maybe it'll be on sometime that night, and then you get to see their version of events that doesn't match what you saw on your phone at all. So I think the average people are able to synthesize this information a lot quicker and no longer even need the explanation from the media. And when they then go get it and it doesn't match what the conclusion they came to themselves, I think they stop tuning in.
I think also here in Tennessee, we have reached and gone past peak left-wing craziness. And that peak came with all the excitement around Afton Bain's special election. And when she got clobbered by 9 points, there's just no oomph there, it seems to me. Tom, when we come back, an anti-ICE protester down in Memphis was trying to claim that they were hit by a police car. We don't think so. We've got the goods on that. Let's talk about that when we get back.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Did you ever stop and think, why do the wealthy pay less taxes than we do? One reason, they take full advantage of the IRS tax code. Today's tax code is over 2 million pages. Who can read that? Remember the 2016 debate with Hillary Clinton? When asked why he doesn't pay more taxes, President Trump had the perfect answer. He said, if you don't like the current tax code, change it. I follow the very laws that you wrote. That's where Julio Gonzalez and his company, Tax Engineered Services, comes in. Julio's team looks at your taxes after they're done, but before you file them with the IRS. He doesn't get between you and your accountant. He reviews your taxes, makes his recommendations, and only gets 5 to 10% of what he saved you. No money up front, no cost. It's tax literacy for MAGA. He also sees what grants you may qualify for. For more information, text ETS to the number 26786. That's ETS to 26786. Text now.
For years, the Europeans have underestimated President Trump time after time. But at every turn, he's been right. On energy, on NATO, on foreign free riding. It's time they pay up. That's why he's cracking down on foreign countries that don't pay their fair share for American medicines, renegotiating trade deals for the prescription drugs we invent. President Trump is ending the foreign freeloading, making Europe pay their fair share.
Paid for by Americans for Limited Government.
The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories.
It's not that all Somalis are criminal. It's just that 90% of these crimes are being committed by Somali Americans. And if you came to this country and you took advantage of the Americans' generosity, you committed fraud, and you refused to assimilate, you know what? I got 4 words for you. Get the hell out.
Cats and Cosby, 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the John Fredericks Media Network.
The book needs to be thrown at these people.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com, listen to Michael Patrick Leahy, and make America great again.
This is State Senator Mark Pouty. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pouty.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pouty, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Tom Pappert, our lead political reporter with the Tennessee Star and the Star News Network. Tom, perhaps they're better. Crazy leftists are better at the performative arts in Minneapolis than they are in Memphis, Tennessee. Why don't you describe the alleged story that happened in Memphis when an anti-ICE protester claimed they were hit by a car, and then you describe it, and then we'll play the video.
Well, Michael, the story came out as it was initially reported that an anti-ICE protest was ongoing in Memphis, Tennessee. They were protesting the death of Renee Nicole Good, who, of course, was allegedly ramming or attempting to ram an ICE agent when she was fatally shot. And they were taking to the streets, as they so often do. One person was arrested for banging on an ICE officer's vehicle, trying to open the doors and otherwise impede their investigation. But another individual was standing in the middle of the street, according to him, when a Tennessee Highway Patrol officer assisting law enforcement during the protest ran him over.
He said he ran him over,
laying on the ground.
And by the way, Justin Pearson, one of the Tennessee Three, the narcissist who hates the other narcissist, Justin Jones, and who's now running in the Democratic primary to beat the old white liberal there, Steve Cohen. He said, "Oh yeah, you ran over Tennessee Highway Patrol, ran over this ICE protester." That's the story, right?
That is the story. That's what was hammered home and repeated by local and national media until, well, Tennessee Highway Patrol put a stop to it.
Here's the video cam from that Tennessee Highway Patrol car. There we go. He's driving. Now he's driving.
Move!
And now
Get
he's come to
out
a
of my
full
way!
stop.
Get out of my way!
Full stop.
Move!
There's a nutcase.
Move!
The nutcase then
Move!
goes under the car while the car stops.
While still holding on to it. You can see his hands.
How stupid are they? How gullible do they think we are?
Well, and how stupid are the reporters, both local, national? I mean, this made it into a lot of the far left Democrat publications. How stupid are they that they did not think to fact check this? You can see the man's hands. If you can see someone's hands on the top of the vehicle's grill, I don't think you can say the individual was run over, let alone, I mean, the video shows the guy, in my eyes at least, clearly voluntarily threw himself under the vehicle to create a very powerful image for his friends to post to social media. So this is embarrassing. I mean, editors should be firing people today if this made it into their publication without a critical examination of the claim.
Yeah, no kidding. Editors in regime media have big problems. You see the People editor whose headline for the death of the great Scott Adams called him a disgraced Dilbert cartoonist. What a bunch of baloney that was.
Well, there's been so many of those, and that they tweeted that article out. It was deleted, and the author, this editor, is now locked down their profile on X. And the same, I think, or similar happened to the New York Times, where they described him as like a racist cartoonist, and of course were dogpiled rightfully for that. It's almost as though the idea that we should be training journalists in elite institutions that are totally captured by the far left and then treating them as though they are fonts of virtue and wisdom, it's almost like that isn't working out for the big regime media outlets that are still have their doors open.
Here's another failure to follow the facts from regime media outlets. The 37-year-old woman who was killed in a shooting by an ICE officer after she aimed her vehicle and accelerated it directly at him. Her name was basically Renee Nicole Good. It's been widely reported that she was married to Becca Good, her domestic partner. Turns out, as Julie Kelly has investigated, there is no evidence anywhere that the two were married. In fact, she changed her name in a courtroom in 2023 in Missouri, but there's no evidence they were married. And yet, every regime media outlet says they were married. Your thoughts on that, Tom Pappert?
Yeah, it's really one of these bizarre moments, and I can't even imagine like what these two individuals were thinking, that they're just going to go down to the courthouse. I mean, you can have a justice. This is post-Obama America, Michael. Any two people can get married that want to get married, and so they could just go down to the courthouse and have the justice of the peace do it. But instead, they go and they They just have the name changed. It's very odd. I can't understand why somebody would do that. But more critically, as you said, it's, again, frankly embarrassing that all of these media outlets uncritically have used the phrase her wife without stopping to even ask, well, was there a wedding ring or a marriage certificate, or is there a photo of the,
no marriage
of the wedding
certificate.
day? Are these two people married, or is this a political relationship?
Well, there we go. Tom Pappert, the great Tom Pappert. Thanks so much for joining us today. Hey, stick around, because in our next hour, the NFL great Kevin Dyson, he of the Music City Miracle, has another miracle he's working on. The Music City Academy, a public charter school planned that he's going to lead here in Nashville, Tennessee. Hopefully he'll come in early on in our next hour, but we're waiting. He's got a busy schedule, but he'll be here in hour 2. Back after this.
Ponder this. Do you ever pray to God for something you really want or need? Do you ever feel like your prayers were never heard or answered? Maybe you are praying for your favorite team to win a championship game, only to come up short and settle for runner-up. Perhaps you prayed for a promotion that you were passed over, and there's always the lottery ticket purchase. You know, praying for a winning $1 million ticket? In these circumstances, you might feel like your prayers were not heard or answered. Don't be discouraged. Your prayers were heard and answered, just that the answer was no. You see, the Lord answers prayers in the same way a good father answers requests from his children. Even Jesus was turned down in the prayer to his Father, requesting to let the pain and suffering from the cross pass from him. However, the Lord added to this request, "Not my will, but thy will be done." With every prayer and petition, consider ending it in this manner: "Not my will, but thy will be done." The Lord hears and answers all prayers. It's just that sometimes he says no. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
Get in. We're stealing homes. We're not like those other home criminals that steal your stuff. We steal your hard-earned home equity. We find your property online from the public record. Got it. Create a deed transfer that makes us the homeowners. Got it. And borrow tons of cash against your equity, and you won't know till the foreclosure notice hits months later.
Just go to HometitleLock.com/Godzilla. Protect yourself.
John Fredericks loves his radio and TV audience, but did you know how to follow the Godzilla of Truth wherever you go? Download the John Fredericks Radio Show app to listen live nationwide. For the daily chit-chat, Trucking the Truth, download the Getter app and join the morning fun on Getter Live from 6 to 10 a.m. Follow John Fredericks on Getter, Truth Social, or Twitter at JF Radio Show.
This is WJFN Goochland, Bonaire, Chester, and WJFB Portsmouth, part of the John Fredericks Media Network.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. It is slaughter on a mass scale in Iran. It shows no signs of slowing down. Iran's judiciary chief suggests fast trials and the speedy execution of those who have been arrested for defying the ruling theocracy.
This comes despite warnings from President Trump. The human rights activist news agency says more than 2,500 people have died from a bloody crackdown. Mr. Trump has warned Iran of possible U.S. military action over the killings. Iran is preparing for the mass funeral of 100 security force members killed in the demonstration.
Correspondent Andrew Stewart says Elon Musk's Starlink is offering free access in Iran, helping people to get around the government's internet blackout. The top diplomats of Denmark and Greenland are meeting today with Vice President Vance and Secretary of State Rubio at the White House. The meeting comes as President Trump remains rock solid in his determination to see the U.S. win control of the icy Arctic island.
Writing on his social media site, the president said the U.S. needs Greenland for national security reasons, and anything less than American control, he said, is unacceptable. He went on to say that NATO should help the U.S. with the acquisition. Otherwise, he warned, Russia or China could gain control, and he has vowed not to let that happen. Greg Clugston, Washington.
February 1st, that's President Trump's deadline for cutting federal funding to sanctuary jurisdictions, both states and cities. The Washington Post says FBI agents have searched a reporter's home, part of an investigation into a government contractor who's accused of taking home government secrets. On Wall Street this hour, stocks are in the red. The Dow Jones Industrial Average down 208 points. The Nasdaq is off 267 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-893-2288. That's 800-893-2288.
You're still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Well, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
A deadly accident in northeast Thailand has claimed at least 32 lives.
The train derailment occurred on part of an ambitious planned high-speed rail project that will eventually connect much of Southeast Asia with China. In addition to the deaths, over 60 people were injured, and rescuers are combing the wreckage and providing first aid. The crane, being used to build an elevated part of the railway, fell as the train was travelling from Bangkok to Ubon Ratchathani province, according to officials where the accident took place. Photos published in Thai media show rescue workers on top of overturned railway carriages, some with gaping holes torn on their sides. What appeared to be sections of the crane were scattered along the track. Thai media has also been reporting the train had 3 carriages, the last 2 being the most damaged. The Transport Minister says 195 people were on board the train. He's ordered an investigation. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
News and analysis at townhall.com. In Pittsburgh, the Mike Tomlin era is over, leaving the Steelers after almost 2 decades as head coach.
The longest tenured head coach in major American professional sports stepped down from his job leading the Steelers on Tuesday after yet another quick playoff exit. The announcement came a day after the end of his 19th season in Pittsburgh, where he was a relative unknown when he was hired to replace Bill Cowher in early 2007. Tomlin guided the Steelers to a Super Bowl title in 2008 and finished with a 193-114-2 regular season record. Team president Art Rooney II said in a statement that he was extremely grateful to Mike. I'm Geffen Coolbaugh.
A proposal to tax the accumulated wealth of California billionaires has ignited a political uproar in Silicon Valley and beyond. There is speculation the proposal could convince more billionaires to flee the Golden State for greener, friendlier pastures. More on these stories, townhall.com.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Our phone number, 615-814-2848, 615-814-2848. If you want to call us, we need 3 things from you. Number 1, your name. Number 2, your state of residence. And number 3, your topic. Our topic for this segment is the deep state and the rule of law. By the way, if you want to watch us live and in living color, there's a way to do it. Just go to my X account, Michael P. Leahy. Also, you can see it at the TN Star X account. And we're also on YouTube. We're on Fire Stick, Roku, and Apple TV. So live and in living color. Now, the deep state and the rule of law. When we talk about the deep state, what are we talking about? We're talking about those bureaucrats that are part of the executive department. Ostensibly, they report to the President of the United States, but for decades, the deep state has set itself up as a separate part of our government, a fourth branch, if you will, that's not part of the Constitution. Not a good thing. I know way back in my early youth, I was a federal employee for about 1.5 years, 2 years with the Environmental Protection Agency. And I can tell you, they think differently than you do. They think they control you. I'm just saying, there's a majority of my colleagues at that time. This is a long time ago. We're talking Jimmy Carter period, 1978, 79, that period of time. So, having said that, there's an example of deep staters in, of all places, the Secret Service. What? Well, you know our friend James O'Keefe was with Project Veritas, did these undercover hits, and then went off to O'Keefe Media, where he did more undercover hits. And but he's continued that pattern, and he's got a style, a modus operandi. What is that modus operandi? Well, he'll identify, shall we say, a vulnerable deep stater. When I say vulnerable, that means somebody who is either looking for a date or looking for something else. And he'll you get an operative to pretend to be interested romantically in the deep stater. And they bring a camera. And, all sorts of stuff can unfold. And here's an example. So this is a Secret Service agent under the Biden era who's been assigned to protect Vice President J.D. Vance. And it took, I don't know, maybe one drink and the possibility of some evening excitement for the guy to spill the beans, to give operational details about where the vice president was going to be. What could possibly go wrong? Let's play that clip right now.
Can I see your badge again with your photo? You're so cute.
A current Secret Service agent on Vice President J.D. Vance's security detail.
When he's like walking, like where are you?
If we follow him, we'll have at least a minimum head and
gives away vital high-level security information to our undercover journalists.
We have different shifts. We have shift.
Tells her about detailed future travel plans for the vice president, and even sends her pictures with location metadata revealing where the president's convoy was located, potentially violating both the Secret Service NDA and United States federal law. And Tomas is fully aware of this. Quote, I signed paperwork, so if I don't have to get out information, I never do, otherwise I get in trouble. You really have to stand in awe of the lack of self-awareness.
They know secret about what we do.
Tomas Escato also reveals that he voted for Biden and that he hates Trump and Vance's immigration policies.
Did you vote for Biden?
Yes, I did actually.
What do you think about like all the ICE stuff going on?
Yeah, I hate that shit.
Yeah.
They're employing taxes that shouldn't be employed.
You may have seen reports last week that someone attempted to break into Vice President J.D. Vance's home in Ohio. That incident prompted us to take a closer look. What we found in our investigation was an agent inside the vice president's detail who was actually revealing to a total stranger that the vice president would be visiting his home in Ohio days ahead of time. And while what you're about to see is an important story, the security of the vice president and his family is our top priority. Now, under normal circumstances, our editorial policy is to request comment a day or two before a report airs. But in this case, we contacted the Secret Service a full week in advance of this report to ensure that nothing we report here would compromise the Vice President's safety in any way. But even with those precautions, what we uncovered is troubling, and we felt this is important for you all to see. We hope that bringing this to light strengthens security and helps prevent future vulnerabilities in our government.
Can I see your badge again with your photo? You said you were training. It was your training?
Yeah, that's like 4 years ago.
You're so cute.
We met Thomas on the dating app Tinder in October of 2025. The Secret Service agent is a holdover from the Biden administration. He was actually originally tasked with protecting Kamala Harris and Doug Emhoff. In fact, he sent us this image from a Christmas party in December of 2024. There he is with Kamala Harris.
How did you get picked to do like vice president?
Not by choice, it's just they talk to you and they let you know. It's like, hey, eventually you're going to have to go down to D.C.
Okay.
All roads lead to D.C. When you're great. So you can go to the president's detail, the vice president's detail, what we call counter surveillance division, so that's undercover stuff.
Okay, so hold on just a second. This guy's giving it all up. It looks like this is a classic honey trap, right? I mean, this is what the Soviet Union used to do in the Cold War. They'd put a diplomat in a compromising position. And you can see the undercover journalist was clearly playing the role, kind of seductive in her questioning. But this is a first date. I mean, this guy's given up all the details of where the vice president's going to be on a first date. What kind of operational security does this provide? Not much. The guy's been put on administrative leave, but let's continue with the report.
He's talking about undercover counter surveillance to a journalist wearing a hidden camera. Tomas Escato is often directly involved in the vice president's transportation to and from his residence at the Naval Observatory, surveillance of the vice president's residence, and even protecting Vance's wife, Usha Vance, and their children. Here he complains again to a total stranger he just met about his assignment involving J.D. Vance's children.
So what are his kids like?
We go to school with them.
Oh.
Yeah, we follow them everywhere. There's a 24/7, there is no last coverage. Not like it's a babysitter with a R. It's a weird one that we always talk about, like, what the fuck is this? But you can't do nothing.
Oh, you can't do anything?
No, we can't do anything.
Tomas proceeds to give our undercover journalist detailed info with pictures about the specific methods used to transport and protect the vice president. It even tells her some exact times of shift changes on the Secret Service schedule.
So, like, when he's, like, walking, like, where are you?
Following.
Just following.
This is a group of us, we surround, make a bubble. Yeah. We'll have at least a minimum head and now that I'm on the vice president's actual details, a little different because we have different shifts. We have shift.
Via text, J.D. Vance's Secret Service agent informs the stranger when he has picked up J.D. Vance's wife and even mentions that he and Vance are currently at Tomas even sends a selfie from inside a J.D. Vance's residence at the Naval Observatory. It's basically a secure location while the Secret Service...
Okay, so how does this guy ever get the gig? He's violating every element of operational security. This is a huge, huge problem. We'll have more when we get back. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy. Sometime this hour, Kevin Dyson will be here, we think, to talk about Music City Academy. Back after this.
Ponder this. Most of us in America have more than we need to sustain ourselves, like a roof over our heads, food to eat, and clothes to wear, and much more. The one thing we seem to be lacking every day is more time. There is never enough time in our day, or in a night for that matter. That being said, we try to create more time each day by rushing around to perhaps buy a little more time. We rush from one event to another. We double or even triple task to save time. We drive fast cars to get to our fast food restaurants. Our days are full with little time left for family, friends, and God. To better manage your pace, take a minute each morning to get on your knees and let the Lord know that you are giving Him all your time today. Sincerely ask Him to give you clear direction on what He wants you to accomplish each day. The Lord will make sure you have plenty of time for His will to be done without rushing around. Listen to the Lord to manage your time each day. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am Passionately Catholic.
Is your pet ready for some pawsome fun? At Creekside Pet Hotel in Kennesaw, every day is a tail-wagging adventure. Whether they're romping with friends in day camp, enjoying a staycation in our cozy boarding, or getting pampered in our luxury spa, we make sure every furry guest gets the royal treatment. Happy pets, wagging tails, and the best care. What more could they ask for? Book your pet's perfect getaway today at creeksidepethotel.com or give us a call at 770-422-4700.
The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories.
It's not that all Somalis are criminal. It's just that 90% of these crimes are being committed by Somali Americans. And if you came to this country and you took advantage of the Americans' generosity. You committed fraud, and you refused to assimilate. You know what? I got 4 words for you. Get the hell out.
Katz and Cosby, 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the John Fredericks Media Network.
The book needs to be thrown at these people.
The math is simple. Every dollar we waste on unnecessary federal supervision is a dollar we can't use to fight violent crime. The Safer Supervision Act cuts bureaucratic waste and frees up law enforcement resources to protect families from serious threats. Law enforcement officers across the country and Republicans in Congress agree this is a smarter way to improve public safety. Stop the waste, protect our communities, fix federal supervision. Visit safersupervision.com to help. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
What happens in Virginia doesn't stay in Virginia. It influences policy and policymakers nationwide. The VirginiaStar.com shines a light on the issues in VA that become issues for the USA, with insightful commentary that gets to the fact of the matter. The VirginiaStar.com is your source of wisdom and truth, locally, statewide, and nationally. Log on today and every day. The VirginiaStar.com. The VirginiaStar.com.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back in studio, the great NFL receiver with the Titans, Kevin Dyson. Welcome, Kevin.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you having me, man.
So you were you played at the University of Utah. Were you there with Urban? Who was your coach?
Ron McBride. I was just before Urban Meyer. You know, although I had some conversations with him while he was at Utah. But yeah, I was just before him.
But where are you from originally?
I'm from Utah. I went to junior high and high school in Utah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
You went to Utah. Utah's a great place.
It is. You know, I'm a back and forth kid between Las Vegas and Utah, and Utah was home, but I've been in Tennessee since 1998. So this is this is home now.
How you've been in Tennessee. Of course, 2 famous plays.
Yeah.
Perhaps 2 of the most famous plays in NFL history.
Yeah.
You were part of them.
They're up there.
They're up there. Music City Miracle, just a few minutes to go in the game and kickoff, and you're losing to the Bills. I'm from upstate New York. So
Are you?
Yeah, near Buffalo. So
okay. You're not a Bills fan.
Oh, no. We was rooting for the Titans in that game. The very famous lateral. It was a lateral from Frank to you. And there is nothing more exciting than watching you headed towards the end zone.
Yeah.
And what you were thinking, of course, I think I'm going to make it, right?
Well, the phrase I always thought as a player is a thinking player is a dead player. So you don't necessarily, you're just reactionary.
You just do it, yeah.
You have instincts. But there was a moment as I'm running, because as I'm going out there, the whole preparation was we just need a field goal. So if you get in trouble, get out of bounds, get a field goal, win the game, so to speak. But there was that moment when I saw Doug Christie go down. I was like, oh, I'm going to score.
Isn't that something?
It was it. And we're talking milliseconds, really. It's not.
Yeah.
It happened so fast.
So you get the Super Bowl, 23-16, you're down. Last play of the game.
Yeah.
Get a pass from Steve McNair.
Yeah.
You almost make it. About a yard short. Mike Jones tackles you.
Yeah.
End of game.
Yeah, there's a couple things to that, man, because over the years people say, well, you could have dropped the ball couldn't come to you not be a part of the moment, all those things. You weren't successful, and of course 3 weeks before I was successful, and the irony there is the Mississippi Miracle, I wasn't supposed to be on the field, and then
you got in there the last minute, right?
Right, and then the Super Bowl I'm in the progression, the ball goes to the right read, and I don't score. I think, man, when I think about the last 26 years now, I guess, I played in the NFL for 6 years, 6 seasons. I was at it for 8 years. I had injuries that cut my talent and my career short. But there's a lot of players that didn't get a chance to play in any Super Bowls. I've played in 2 and 3 championship games. There's been a lot of players that have come into this league and helped this Hall of Fame players be Hall of Famers, help them win championships, and nobody remembers them. So it's very humbling to think of something 26 years later that still brings people joy when they tell me their stories of where they were. That still makes me relevant to this day, and you see the commercials with me on it and things of that nature, man. So it's a humbling thought, but it's also being grateful because there's a lot of dudes, blood, sweat, and tears, injuries, and things that they poured into the league that people don't even know. And to be still known and recognized, man, is very, very, very humbling.
So then you do something kind of unusual for former NFL players.
Yeah.
You don't go out and do a lot of commercials like the Manning brothers do. Yeah. You get a doctorate in education.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Why did you do that?
Oh, man. Well, I'd say this. When you retire, there's two things that go from retirement. Like, are you financially stable? And you want to make sure you are. So what do? And a lot of players think I got to make the same amount of money as I made as I was leaving, which is of 1%. It doesn't happen.
Not going to happen.
Not going
to happen.
Unless you set some things up from an investment and entrepreneurial standpoint, which back then wasn't a whole lot of that going on, and a lot of education was not as available to us as it is now. And then the other part of that was, well, this is what I've been doing for, at that point, I'm 30 years old, so almost my whole life, so 20-something years of my life of playing football or playing sports. What do I do? So you think, I'm going to stay in sport. I think I'm a coach, I'm going to do something. That seems like the easiest trajectory where I don't have to relearn anything. Well, I pursued some opportunities in college world and coaching and pro world, and it didn't materialize. And then I settled in on a coaching in a high school, a private school out here in Nashville, and I loved it. I love teaching.
Now, you started coaching in which school?
Franklin Road, FRA.
FRA. So you're a coach there, and you decide, you got your degree from the University of Utah, a fine institution, and then you got your EDD, and where'd you go for that?
I've got both my master's and my EDD at Trevecca.
At Trevecca here? Yeah, great school.
Yeah.
Great school. Our broadcast tower for the 760 AM signal is on the campus of Trevecca. It used to be the Trevecca.
I think I remember that.
Yeah. So that's where the local, we're on 1,000 watt AM here in Nashville. So you get your EDD, and I know you because both of my daughters went to Independent High School.
Oh, yeah.
One was class of 2008, the other class of 2013.
Yeah, she reached out to me to link us up. So
right about that time. Right about that time is when you were at Independence. You were the athletic director at Independence, weren't you?
I was the head football coach, AD, and I left.
You were the head football coach there.
And then I left for a couple years and came back when your oldest was there, and I was the assistant principal when the coach who replaced me, Scott Blade, was the one who replaced me when I left.
So how long did you coach Independence High School football?
I was the head coach for 3 seasons. I was coaching there for 4.
Did you like Independence here in Williamson County?
I did. Yeah. I enjoyed it. It helped me grow a lot. I didn't know I wanted to be a head coach or even in administration, and I got the opportunity to go there and do both from athletic directors, and then, of course, moving into full-time administration. I started that in Rutherford County, but ended up back in Williamson. But that helped me grow a lot, and it helped me grow in even the sense of the knowledge of football. I knew my world. I knew DBs. I knew wide receivers. I even knew some other schemes and things of that nature. But when you're a head coach, you got to know what everybody's doing. So it made me a better, well-rounded football scholar, if you will.
How did the high school athletes that you were coaching at the time, how did they respond to the Kevin Dyson from the NFL and Music City Miracle being their coach?
It depends. I think a lot of those kids, they didn't know me like that because I was just coaching. Their parents have always.
Their parents all knew the story.
Yeah, and then they tell them, and then they look it up, and
they go, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, early on in my career as education, it was a little bit of that because I was still fresh out, and it was still kind of fresh in the eyes of the community and things of that nature. So it was a little bit of that, but after a while, once you get used to me, you're just a normal guy. That awe moment kind of goes away pretty fast.
So then you go from Independence High School, where you're a football coach, athletic director, then assistant principal. Then you end up being the high school principal in Franklin at Centennial High School.
I did.
And what was that like?
Again, I'm about growing, so it was a lot of growth in that. I learned a lot about myself, a lot to learn. There was a point in there where I doubted my ability to lead and transform schools. It was tough work. In that sense that there's a lot of moving pieces people don't realize that goes with running a high school. And there was some self-doubt that went on for about a semester. And then that second semester, my first year there, something just clicked. And I got into a little bit of a rhythm. I had great people around me, great leaders around me, great teachers around me. And then the kids started responding it just kind of started taking off. And I get credit because I'm the principal for a lot of things that happen there, but I really had some great people around me that really cared about the school, cared about the community, cared about the kids in the building, and vice versa. I think families they also cared about what was going on, and I think collectively we started doing some things and had some success.
What's the hardest thing about being a high school principal in Williamson County, Tennessee these days?
I think the biggest thing is living up to the expectation. Williamson County Schools is built a reputation, and rightfully so. They've had a lot of success academically, athletically, that it's hard to outmatch or outdo what you did the year before. And the bar is always being pushed, depending on where you're at with school, and for how far that bar is being pushed, but it's always being pushed. And you're challenged by your neighboring school, and what they're doing, what they're able to accomplish, and you can't help but look at it, and just the competitive nature that we have. Most principals in Williamson County, at least high school, have been athletes themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They're competitive by nature. They're also people who care about kids and what they do, and so they always push the envelope. And the good news in that is they push each other in a way to be better, but at the same time, it is a stressful situation because you never feel like you've done enough. And there's nothing bad to say about that, and that's the good in what these educators do is you don't feel like what you've done is enough. You always want to get better, and I think that's the hardest part of the job is there's always work to do, and you can always get better.
How long were you the high school principal there?
I was 4 years.
4 years?
4 years, yeah.
That's a long time. You know, my dad, of course, I grew up in upstate New York.
Yeah.
And there's a different structure there. Here, the public schools are all run on a county basis.
Mm-hmm.
But in in New York State, every community has their own school board.
Mm.
And so my dad he started out as a shop teacher.
Yeah.
In Beekmantown, New York, near Plattsburgh. And then he went on and became the K-12 principal in a little town called Dannemora, New York.
Yeah.
You might remember Dannemora. That's where they had the prison break.
Oh, yeah. Okay, the name now it's ringing a bell.
Yeah. And then he went on to another, there was like 300 kids there. Then he went to Stockbridge Valley, which had like 700 kids. And I was always the son of the principal. So I have a perspective and an understanding about the job of a high school principal.
Yeah.
When we come back after the break, Kevin Dyson, our guest, the NFL great, the key guy in the Music City Miracle. You've got something coming on here in the Music City that we want to talk about. It's a new charter school. Back with Kevin Dyson after this.
Attorney General Miyares and John Fredericks talk about skill games.
They're unregulated slot machines.
They pop up in 7-Elevens in every corner of Virginia.
The General Assembly has spoken on this.
Skill games.
These things are illegal.
It's the Wild Wild West. Fights break out. Robberies increase.
Skill games.
They prey on the less fortunate.
I say it's a tax on the poor.
They're breaking the law.
My job is to enforce the law. These machines are not allowed.
Enforce the law and get them out of there.
When you see skill games, call the local sheriff.
These things are illegal.
Paid for by Churchill Downs.
If you've tried everything for cheek redness or breakouts and nothing works, it's not your fault. The real cause might be deeper than you think. Introducing Clear Skin Ivermectin Cream from the Wellness Company, a prescription-strength, dermatologist-developed formula that helps reduce inflammation, balance bacteria, and restore your skin's natural glow. This triple-action cream combines 3 medical-grade ingredients for powerful results. Azelaic acid to unclog pores and fade dark spots, metronidazole to control bacterial imbalance and redness, and ivermectin to calm irritation and eliminate skin parasites that contribute to rosacea and acne. Together, these ingredients work to reduce bumps, swelling, and redness while supporting smoother, healthier, and more radiant skin over time. Formulated and compounded in the United States, this FDA-approved cream is trusted by doctors for visible and lasting results. Experience clear, confident skin with the Wellness Company's Clear Skin Ivermectin Cream. U.S. residents only. Head to twc.health/Godzilla and use code Godzilla to save $20 off, plus free shipping.
Trump 2.0 is in full effect. How do you keep up with all the action? I'll tell you. TrumpNationNews.com is your inside source for the inside scoop. Manufacturing, jobs, deportations, and the nation's rejuvenation. The first 100 days and beyond. All the news you need and no liberal gibberish. It's the perfect way to start your day. Sign up for the TNN newsletter. Do it today. TrumpNationNews.com. TrumpNationNews.com. Part of the John Fredericks Media Network.
Did you ever stop and think, why do the wealthy pay less taxes than we do? One reason, they take full advantage of the IRS tax code. Today's tax code is over 2 million pages. Who can read that? Remember the 2016 debate with Hillary Clinton? When asked why he doesn't pay more taxes, President Trump had the perfect answer. He said, if you don't like the current tax code, change it. I follow the very laws that you wrote. That's where Julio Gonzalez and his company, Tax Engineered Services, comes in. Julio's team looks at your taxes after they're done, but before you file them with the IRS. He doesn't get between you and your accountant. He reviews your taxes, makes his recommendations, and only gets 5 to 10% of what he saved you. No money up front, no cost. It's tax literacy for MAGA. He also sees what grants you may qualify for. For more information, text ETS to the number 26786. That's ETS to 26786. Text now.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
In studio, NFL great, Nashville legend, the guy in the Music City Miracle, the guy who scored the touchdown that put us into the Super Bowl. Kevin Dyson. Kevin, so you were principal at Centennial for 4 years, and you decided that you want to start a charter school called Music City Academy.
Oh, my goodness, Ralph.
Why did you do that? And are you ready for the challenges ahead of you?
Well, man, I think if you saw my trajectory of my whole career, I've pushed the envelope on myself. And as again, I keep talking about that growth mindset every time. And I could have sat back. I was having some success at Centennial. And when the offer was approached to me, or the opportunity, I should say, was approached to me, I took a long time thinking about it. And
so a group approached you and said,
the Nashville Incubator approached
the Nashville
me.
Incubator.
Yeah.
Tell us, what is that group?
So they essentially find fellows or aspiring people that want to start their own school, and they support them in that process, and they recruit potential educators that have innovative ways that they might want to do schools. And in my conversations with Scott, who's the CEO of the Nashville Incubator, Scott Campbell, we just had some good, candid conversations about what is education and what would you do differently. And that's essentially why I ended up going. I'm nearing the end of my career. I told myself I was going to do 20 years in this business. I retired at 30 years old. I just turned 50. So this is my 20th
You don't
year.
look a day over 32.
Well, I appreciate that. And
I'm not even going to get into what your workout regimen is.
Yeah,
you put me to shame, brother.
No, well, I got to get back on it too. But I said I was going to do this for 20 years.
Yeah,
and then see where I'm at in life and see what I'm going to do next, so to speak. And that seemed like a good round number of 30 to 50. When I got to 50, and it was at a crossroads in life, and I was like, let me see what I can do next. How can I grow? What can I accomplish, so to speak? But not necessarily just for me, just partly for me. Obviously, I'm goal oriented, but for kids, I think what I've learned as an educator is what teachers do, what principals do, is a lot. There's a lot of selfless work in that. We're here for the kids and their families. And at times we bump heads like anything else. That relationship is, the kid doesn't want to listen, the teacher is stubborn, the principal has their ways, and everybody kind of finds a way to make it work. But what I found is we're, in a most sense, to the general sense of what education is, public education that is the same as it was in the early 1900s as it is in 2025, where essentially kids come to the school, they receive information, we test them, and then we move on. And there are ways, or different ways, that we all learn. And for lack of a better way to say it, there's more than one way to skin a cat. And I'm looking at a specific way to skin a cat, a different way, a way that may have kept me more engaged in school. I was fine in school. I was a B student, B or better. I was a 3.3, 3.4 student. But if you ask me, was I fully engaged in what was going on? No. But the classes that kept me engaged, the things that kept me motivated was sport. That was what kept me engaged and wanting to go to school, because I wanted to play basketball, I wanted to play football, I wanted to play soccer.
You played all sports?
Yeah, and so taking the unifying power what sports brings to you to help student athletes achieve academic excellence, because I became an academician, and then help student athletes become successful, whatever that looks like, whether it be post-secondary school opportunities to play ball or jobs or college. I wanted to provide that by using the vehicle of sport to get that opportunity to kids. Sport, it teaches us all. It transcends color barriers, economic barriers, racial barriers. When it comes to our sports and teams, there's always something bigger than yourself, and that's the intentionality of the school. It's team over self. It's everybody else is accountable.
So this will be a public charter school.
Public charter school.
And it will be, what, 9 through 12?
9 through 12.
9 through 12. Yeah. It's called the Music City Academy.
Yeah, and that name in itself is obviously, it plays a little bit off of the Music City Miracle.
Yeah.
Of course, I toyed with some other names
I love
that
it.
surround me.
The branding is perfection.
Yeah. And then the other part of it, too, is it pays homage to how the name came about for the city of Nashville. The Fisk Jubilee Seniors, who were in Europe singing, touring, sang for Queen Elizabeth, and she called it the group from Music City. And I think that just kind of helps pay homage to some people who actually have paved the way for myself and a lot of people in this community, all the musicians that come in town. Although we're not a music school, not an art school, we're more for athletics, but that's kind of where the name came from.
So charter schools, I think there's almost 1 million K-12 public school students right now. I think when we looked at it, about 40,000 of those kids go to public charter schools, which you have to go through a process.
Yeah.
You submit an application to do a charter school with a plan.
Yeah.
And you've got to have a building lined up, I think, right? And then you go to the local public board of education, in your case, Metro Nashville Public Schools, and they either approve or don't approve. If they don't approve it, you've got an appeal process. And often it's the appeal process that goes to the state. I think it's the state board of education that signs off on it. You're likely to get approved, but it's going to be a process.
Yeah,
right, I would say.
Yeah.
How is this school going to be different? Where is it going to be, and how many kids are you looking for? What's going to be different about it?
Well, I'll start with the latter part of those questions. Where we're going to be, we're still looking at some viable options. I would love to be as centrally located. I want to keep the school as diverse as I can. I mean, that's the way of the world. We're a diverse world, and I think we can learn from one another. And that's the idea of that. The timeline of it all is the hopes, as you mentioned. I'll submit my application in February, depending on how that goes and if they approve or not. But indications is they probably will not approve it. But so there's an appeal
at
process.
the first level.
That first level.
Yeah, you probably get the appeal process.
Yeah,
will probably work.
So it'll probably be summer, late spring before
when it's approved.
When it's approved, and then from there it's just. It's all hands on deck. You start raising capital, to start make sure you got your construction people together. All those things. I already started doing that interviewing and that process there. But what's different about the school is I'm being intentional about the whole student. As far as even from the social emotional aspect, we'll start our day and this is not groundbreaking. Schools still do this, even public schools that are not charter schools do this, but we're going to start our day with an advisory or a homeroom period. But what's going to be different is the intentionality within those homerooms and how we source and do our curriculums in those rooms. That's the first line of intervention. That's the mentor. That's the accountability piece. That's the if a kid's missing, that's the first person that's going to reach out to you and what's going on, missing for a couple of days, what's going on, that's getting there. Just that level of support, so kids have somebody they identify with throughout their whole process. In that, within those groups, also, it's sport. It's a team. There's a team within a team. So every kid is going to be a part of a team. But in that advisory group, that is your team in the building, and we'll have competitions. What I've told people, it's similar to what you heard on Harry Potter in the different dorms. But it's a level of accountability, team over self. So if you're not coming to school, you're not getting those points. You're losing that opportunities to win whatever that is on the end of that. And then in the school in itself, I want teachers to be really intentional in using movement, being culturally relevant, incorporating movement, not just having kids sitting and getting, using all the tools necessary to touch all the centuries of a student so they can grasp the concepts and learn the knowledge. And so often, because it's so easy because we're passionate about whatever we're teaching, to sit up there and give out the information and say you're responsible for learning this information. But I want the room to kind of flip in a sense there, where the kids are the center of the learning and teaching, and the teachers kind of facilitate.
Be very engaged.
Yes.
Yeah, that makes an awful lot of sense.
Yeah.
So, okay, so if all goes well, your first classes would be fall of 2027?
Yes, it'd be ninth grade. We'll start with ninth grade.
Okay, and then you add one grade per year.
Per year.
Typically the way folks do this. Yeah. Will you be competing? How many kids will you have?
Well, we're going to start with about, if everything goes well, 120, 125 per grade level, trying to get to about 480, 500 when it's all said and done. And then as far as the sports that we'll be offering, I mean, we're going to start with some anchor sports, football, volleyball, soccer in the fall, of course, both basketballs in the winter. In the spring, we'll do soccer and flag football to kind of
football to get started.
Yeah. And then from there, we'll see what the demand suggests.
No, they're going to want a football.
Yeah. So we'll start. Of course, we'll offer it, but you'll see. And and again, we're in a community in the area in the South, and just in Nashville, Tennessee in general, football is king. So I recognize that. And of course, I'm a big football guy. So
where can people go to help you? Do you have a website?
I do. You can go musiccityacademy.org. You can find us on Instagram, Music City Academy _ I think it's _ Nashville, actually. I can't remember that right now. But
musiccityacademy.org. And look, go and help, and help Kevin out.
Yeah.
Let's get this going.
Man, please do. I mean, I've said this even in the traditional public setting. Schools can't function without our families, without the support of the community.
Exactly.
And this is even more evident because you're kind of independent. And so the more support you can give and willing to give, please, we'll take it.
So I have a present for you.
Okay.
2 presents that perhaps you might consider including in your government classes.
Okay.
At Music City Academy. We do a little thing called the National Constitution Bee.
Yeah.
Where kids come in and we ask them questions about the Constitution, and we've done it for 5 years. It was on hiatus for a couple of years, but now we're going to be revving it up again for October of next year. And $10,000 college scholarship to the winner.
Oh, wow.
And some of the winners have gone off to really great schools.
Yeah.
And so it's based upon this book. I'm going to give it to you, The Star News, our Guide to the Constitution and Bill of Rights.
Yeah, I think I've seen this book, actually.
And, well, obviously, because you're well informed. And I've signed it to you today. Kevin, your Music City Academy will be your second Music City Miracle.
Yes,
so there you go with that.
Man, thank you.
And if you want any of your kids to participate, and
Absolutely.
in addition, this is a copy of the Constitution of the United States in full, and in addition to that, it is the Constitution of the state of Tennessee.
Oh.
And so I will promise right now that for your first class in the fall of 27, we will give every kid in 9th grade a copy of that book and a copy of the Tennessee Constitution.
Oh, man, thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it. That's nice, man. Thank you.
So you got your work cut out for yourself, don't you?
I do, and it's a whole different type of challenge than I ever thought I'd do. And then again, I go back to what we were talking about at the beginning. If you told me in 2005 I'd be in this position, I thought you was crazy. I just thought I'd be coaching and ADing up until I retired. And now I've grown as a person and as a leader, and I keep pushing the envelope for myself.
This is a lot more fun, though. I mean, I
don't know about that.
Groundbreaking.
I don't know about that.
I think you'll do great.
It's been interesting, but again, it's I think if you stay stagnant, you don't learn. And I think the thing somebody told me years ago is if you knew everything there was about something particular, or you didn't feel like you knew, why would you do it?
Yeah. Kevin Dyson,
Yeah.
the NFL great, and the founder of the Music City Academy, which will be opening, by the way, I predict, in the fall of 2027, because you're going to succeed.
That's it.
Kevin, thank you so much for joining us. When we come back, we'll have more. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy. The website, TennesseeStar.com. Thanks for joining us. Back after this.
Hey folks, Al Green here for SatPhone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need SatPhone. SatPhones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your SatPhone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your SatPhone. Call now.
Is your pet ready for some possum fun? At Creekside Pet Hotel in Kennesaw, every day is a tail-wagging adventure. Whether they're romping with friends in day camp, enjoying a staycation in our cozy boarding, or getting pampered in our luxury spa, we make sure every furry guest gets the royal treatment. Happy pets, wagging tails, and the best care. What more could they ask for? Book your pet's perfect getaway today at CreeksidePetHotel.com or give us a call at 770-422-4700.
What happens in Virginia doesn't stay in Virginia. It influences policy and policymakers nationwide. The VirginiaStar.com shines a light on the issues in VA that become issues for the USA, with insightful commentary that gets to the fact of the matter. The VirginiaStar.com is your source of wisdom and truth, locally, statewide, and nationally. Log on today and every day. The VirginiaStar.com. The VirginiaStar.com.
Let's be real. Losing weight isn't just about looking good. It's about taking back control of your overall health. 42% of adults in America are classified as obese, and obesity is directly linked to severe health issues. If you've tried diets and different workouts with no success, it's not your fault. Big Food and Big Pharma have rigged the system against you with contradicting information, leaving you confused. But there's good news. The Wellness Company just launched Drop, a GLP-1 peptide oral drop formula developed by their chief medical board, specifically designed to support your metabolism, curb cravings, and help you shed weight. That's right. No injections, no risk of the severe side effects we're seeing with the Ozempic. Start your weight loss journey today and get $100 off, plus free shipping. Go to twc.health/Godzilla and use promo code Godzilla100. That's twc.health/Godzilla. Promo code Godzilla100. Take action today for a healthier tomorrow.
My fellow Americans, I was this close, very close, to buying from the lumber yards. These are sick people. But I turned my head at the last second, and I saw a big, beautiful ad for D.T. McCall's. These are highly respected people. If I had not turned my head at the last second, I would have been ripped off at some lumber yard for $200 in hidden charges. And D.T. McCall & Sons are never going to do that. They'd never do that to you. These are great people. I've known them for a long time. They have great deals, and I just have to say, nobody knows deals like I do. D.T. McCall & Sons has locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, and they have been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years. These are tremendous people. D.T. McCall & Sons. Check out one of their stores today.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump. I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of Glockstore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at Glockstore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at Glockstore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We're going to talk some more about the rule of law. Who complies with it? Who doesn't? Case in point, testifying before Congress. If your name is Steve Bannon or Peter Navarro, and you are called by a democratically controlled Congress to testify, and if you claim executive privilege prohibits you from testifying, they're going to throw the book at you. Indeed, they did. And so both Peter Navarro, different cases a little bit, and Steve Bannon refused to testify before Congress on grounds of executive privilege. Actually, when in Steve's case, a little bit different, because the president waived executive privilege. He said, "I'll testify now." They said, "Too late." So the awful, terrible, dishonest Biden Department of Justice decided to prosecute Stephen Bannon and Peter Navarro on contempt of Congress charges. It went before a biased 92% we hate Donald Trump jury in Washington, D.C. They were both convicted, and they both served over, I think, 4 months in prison? I think it was 4 months in prison. Each of them served. Now, what's interesting about that, both of those guys are over 70 years old. How about that? But there was no mercy at all for them, strict adherence to the law. Well, now Republicans are in control of Congress, and they have some questions for Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton with regards to their affiliation with Epstein, right? And they were subpoenaed to testify. And here's what they had to say. Here's the chairman of the Oversight Committee, James Comer, talking about it. Clip 3.
I think everyone knows by now Bill Clinton did not show up. And I think it's important to note that this subpoena was voted on in a bipartisan manner by this committee. This wasn't something that I just issued as chairman of the committee. This was voted on by the entire committee in a unanimous vote of the House Oversight Committee to subpoena former President Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. Now, Hillary Clinton's supposed to show up tomorrow. We'll see what happens there. But with respect to the former president, he did not show up today. One reason I think most Americans want President Clinton to answer some questions is because he visited the White House. Jeffrey Epstein visited the White House 17 times while Bill Clinton was president. I've been in Congress 9 years. I think I've been to the White House 9 times in 9 years. Epstein was in the White House double the amount of time that I was under one president. And then we know that Bill Clinton flew on Epstein's plane somewhere around 27 times after the presidency. So no one's accusing Bill Clinton of any wrongdoing. We just have questions, and that's why the Democrats voted along with Republicans to subpoena Bill Clinton. Not a single Democrat showed up today. Not a single Democrat. The ones that have press conferences on the Capitol steps and talk about how they're trying to get justice for the victims and all that. It just seems like they only care about questioning Republicans. And we've had a former Trump cabinet secretary, Acosta, in for a grilling We had Bill Barr, former Attorney General, in for a grilling. But for whatever reason, President Clinton didn't show up and the Democrats on the committee.
Well, and I'll tell you what that reason was. And I looked into this. So if you get a subpoena to testify before Congress, you can say that's legally invalid because you're not pursuing legislation. Now, there's some tests about whether it's legally valid or not. In this case, that's the claim that was made by Clinton's attorneys and by Clinton, Bill, and Hillary Clinton themselves. It doesn't make any sense. And no court that is sane will uphold their claim that the subpoena was not legally valid. But it's a delay tactic, right? But there's a reason that Bill Clinton doesn't want to show up before the House Oversight Committee. He doesn't want to answer this question. Why did you invite Jeffrey Epstein, the convicted pedophile, to the White House 17 times when you were president? Why, Mr. Ex-President? They want to answer that question. So, I predict ultimately they'll end up caving, but it's a delay tactic. 47 is on his way here, as is Sean Farash. So much to talk about, so little time, but Sean Farash and 47, the greatest president in modern American history, Donald Trump, will be in studio after the break on Michael Patrick Leahy.
Let's face it, losing weight isn't just about looks. It's about taking back control of your health. Tired of confusing diets and injections with harsh side effects? Meet Drop, an oral GLP-1 peptide from the Wellness Company that boosts metabolism, curbs cravings, and helps you burn fat. No needles needed. Just mix it with water and let your body do the rest. Right now, get $100 off and free shipping at twc.health/Godzilla and use the promo code Godzilla100 to save $100. Drop the weight. Take back your life.
Did you ever stop and think, why do the wealthy pay less taxes than we do? One reason, they take full advantage of the IRS tax code. Today's tax code is over 2 million pages. Who can read that? Remember the 2016 debate with Hillary Clinton? When asked why he doesn't pay more taxes, President Trump had the perfect answer. He said, if you don't like the current tax code, change it. I follow the very laws that you wrote. That's where Julio Gonzalez and his company, Tax Engineered Services, comes in. Julio's team looks at your taxes after they're done, but before you file them with the IRS. He doesn't get between you and your accountant. He reviews your taxes, makes his recommendations, and only gets 5 to 10% of what he saved you. No money up front, no cost. It's tax literacy for MAGA. He also sees what grants you may qualify for. For more information, text ETS to the number 26786. That's ETS to 26786. Text now.
John Fredericks loves his radio and TV audience, but did you know how to follow the Godzilla of Truth wherever you go? Download the John Fredericks Radio Show app to listen live nationwide. For the daily chit-chat, Trucking the Truth, download the Getter app and join the morning fun on Getter Live from 6 to 10 a.m. Follow John Fredericks on Getter, Truth Social, or Twitter at JF Radio Show.
WJFN Goochland, Bonaire, Chester, 100.5, 107.7, 92.7 FM, AM 820, and WJFB Portsmouth, AM 16.
Breaking news at Town Hall. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. Demonstrations continue against Iran's Islamic Republic regime, with judicial officials now threatening more trials, even spotted Charles de la Desmond.
Iran's top judge has hinted at fast trials and executions for those detained in nationwide protests, even as activists say the death toll's risen to levels unseen in decades. Iran's judiciary chief made the comments about trials and executions in a video on Tuesday, despite a warning from President Donald Trump that he would take very strong action if executions take place.
Not for sale. That's a message Danish and Greenlandic officials are bringing to their talks today with Vice President J.D. Vance. About Greenland, military affairs analyst, retired Lieutenant Colonel Robert McGinnis says the area is now rife with potential security risks.
Well, it is a great power competition. The Chinese tried to buy Greenland themselves through the back door. Norway, of course, Denmark has little control over Greenland.
Evangelist Franklin Graham is issuing a call today to Christians all over the country. He's asking them to take a moment of silence for prayer at noontime in their local region to pray for a troubled country.
In his invitation to pray with a repentant heart for what he calls the great sins of our nation, the head of Samaritan's Purse says in part, quote, "If you think our nation is in trouble now, just wait as our streets boil over with hate, anger, crime, drugs, and just sheer hopelessness. Is there something we can do? We have increasingly turned our backs on God and his commands, embracing godless secularism. We need to ask his forgiveness and seek his face. Pray for our leaders and pray that God would bring calm to our streets," unquote. In this moment, recalling Matthew 11:15, "He who has ears, let him hear." George Williams reporting.
More on these stories at townhall.com.
Have you noticed losing weight is harder than it used to be? You're eating better and exercising, but the scale barely moves? The real problem isn't willpower, it's metabolic dysfunction. And standard dieting just makes it worse. PhD Weight Loss has helped thousands fix the root cause of stubborn weight. Take their free metabolic assessment at fixmyweightloss.com. Fixmyweightloss.com. It's quick, personalized, and shows why your body is resisting weight loss, so you know exactly what to fix. Visit fixmyweightloss.com. That's fixmyweightloss.com.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/Mike.
Here's Rich Thomas now with the Midday Wall Street Business Report.
Saks Global, the owner of luxury retailers Saks Fifth Avenue and Neiman Marcus, has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. It appears business is booming for one fast-growing no-frills grocer.
Aldi has plans to open more than 180 U.S. stores this year. The chain, with U.S. operations based outside Chicago, went on an expansion tear soon after the inflation began to spike in 2021 and opened a record number new stores last year. Food inflation has slowed, but it was still up 2.4% last year, according to U.S. data, and has soared about 25% since the pandemic.
Correspondent Bill Alexander. China's trade surplus has surged 20% to a record $1.2 trillion, and that's even with President Trump's tariffs. Chinese exports rose 5.5% last year. I'm Rich Thomason.
You'll find breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. 1 million tickets to the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics will cost just under $30 each.
Los Angeles may be one of the most expensive cities on earth, but organizers here say the Olympics will be affordable. From swimming to BMX to skateboarding, every Olympic event in LA will offer tickets starting at $28. And there won't just be a handful of those $28 tickets. Organizers say there will be 1 million sold at that price. Standing outside LA's historic Coliseum with dozens of Olympians, LA 28 chairman Casey Wasserman said the LA Games belong to everyone and they need to be affordable and inclusive. He said roughly a third of the tickets sold would cost less than $100 when they officially go on sale in April.
That's BBC's Regan Morris. The Mike Tomlin era with the Pittsburgh Steelers is over. The longest tenured head coach in major American professional sports stepped out on Tuesday after yet another quick departure from the playoffs. More on these.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Well, folks, it's Hump Day, Trump Day, here in Nashville. Oh, there he is. They've just landed. President Trump is getting out of the helicopter. You can see the wind is blowing his hair all around, but now it's back in place. Right next to him, wearing his trademark baseball cap. No hair blowing around for him, Sean Farash. And entering the studio now is the 47th President of the United States, Donald Trump. Welcome, Mr. President. Thanks for joining us on Trump Day.
Well, very happy to be here on another Trump Day. It was a very busy day yesterday. We've had a very, very busy couple of weeks.
but we've been winning like nobody's ever seen, and we're going to keep doing that. Nobody loves to win as much as I do, and we did some incredible things yesterday, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. We did some incredible things, and a lot of people are talking about it.
Didn't you go bird watching up in Detroit?
Well, we went bird watching, and we found what's called the North America FU bird, right? It's a beautiful bird and a highly respected bird and a bird with very strong opinions. A free bird. I got along very well with Lynyrd Skynyrd. The Van Zants are great people. But you look at the bird, and the bird is the word. Bird is a 4-letter word, by the way. But they weren't happy that I freed the bird yesterday. I let the bird fly because somebody was being really ridiculous and saying nasty things. So, I grew up in Queens, New York. This is what happens when you say something like that about people like that. So we went bird watching. We found it. It's going to be on National Geographic soon. Richard Attenborough, whatever the hell his name is, said, it's the North American FU bird in its natural habitat. And it's flying freely, and it knows how to say things. And I think the bird got its point across. I think it got its point across.
So there was a
very well.
nutcase there who was yelling and screaming about who knows what. I mean, there are many mentally ill people in America today who are all screaming and yelling about who knows what. Protesters in Minneapolis. There's this guy in Detroit. I guess he worked on the line for Ford Motor Company, I guess. And he was about 60 feet from you, and it was yelling and screaming, and you gave him the one-finger salute.
We called him number one. He's number one. He's my number one least favorite person on the job site. And, we gave him the one-finger salute, you call it. We flipped him off. We flipped the bird. You look at it. It's the national, we're looking at taking the eagle off and making the new bird. That's the new bird of the United States of America, the free bird. We love that bird.
I saw you, Mr. President. You were talking to a bunch of Republicans and said there are some things that your wife, Melania, doesn't like you to do, right? And she likes you to be presidential, all right? I guess you're setting new standards for presidential messaging.
Well, we're setting the greatest standards. You look at it, and sometimes she doesn't like when I use nasty words. The BS word is a word she doesn't like. She says, Donald, please don't use that word, but I have to use that word. If it's appropriate, we're going to use that word. She doesn't like the bird. She thinks the bird is a nasty thing. And it could be a nasty thing, but it was appropriately used. There's a time and place, and that was the time and that was the place. And the people say that I wasn't presidential, but your president's not a pushover. And you knew what you were getting when you elected a New York guy from Queens, right? So that's what you get. And we do that to our enemies, too. We flip them the bird. We had Putin on the phone yesterday, FaceTime. We did that to him. President Xi, we flipped him the bird a few times. Kim Jong-un, we like him, but we've sent him a few birds, too. Tweety birds, beautiful birds. So
the regime media kind of got upset about it, but I don't think
they got upset about
care.
it, but I'm going to flip the bird to them, too. Rachel Madcow's going to get a bird. The bird is the word. We're saying that. And the new official bird of the United States is the big, beautiful middle finger. So we love it.
Mr. President, I think there are very few birds of any kind in Greenland, which is, by the way, in the Western Hemisphere. And somehow the little tiny country of Denmark sent a few explorers over there a couple hundred years ago. Now they claim that that Greenland's part of Denmark. But you put out a note the other day that said it's in our national security interest to take over Greenland. Now, that great big island, there are 58,000 people who live there. According to some, they don't want the U.S. to take Greenland over. What do you think about that?
Well, in the 2024 election, I won Greenland by a lot. A lot of people don't realize what they had an election. They voted for me like nobody's ever seen, 93%. So we did very well. But we love Greenland. We're going to take it. If they don't accept a financial offer, we're going to take it, and we'll take it for free.
But Mr. President, a French general has said, "Oh, sacre bleu! Don't, Donald Trump, don't try and militarily take over Greenland because we're going to take, a couple dozen dog sleds and we're gonna fight you in Greenland. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, anything the French say, we don't take seriously. You could drop a glass bottle in the streets of Paris and they'll surrender. They're very good at surrendering. They're very good at losing, too. You look at their president, Macron. I broke his hand last year. We shook his hand. I broke it into several little teeny tiny pieces. You look at Greenland, the Denmark, the Danes. They call them the Danes.
They once were the Great Danes.
I call them stupid people if they think they're going to stop us from buying or taking Greenland.
Well, because we could take it.
And we're going to take it and we're going to rename it.
What are you
because it's not green. So we're looking at renaming it the Big Beautiful Island of McDonald's. Because from outer space it looks like a huge frozen McNugget. And we're looking at renaming it that. Or Donaldtopia, maybe Magaville. So many beautiful names for it, but we're looking closely at it. We're going to take it. I think we're going to take it. And they don't want us to take it, but we're going to take it. And there's nothing they can do about it. Denmark is not going to stop us. France is certainly not going to stop us. They couldn't stop a nosebleed. So they have a lot of problems, too. They have a lot of problems. And Greenland doesn't have to be one of their problems, so we're going to take it. If they like it or not, we're going to take it.
Well, yeah. I mean, strategically, it's a very significant area because China and Russia could really attack the United States if they wanted to through the Arctic and coming through Greenland.
Well, we're going to stop them from doing that. We're going to mine the resources. They have a lot of resources. They have a lot of snow. We love the snow, and it's very cold. But we're going to use it as a beautiful place, and we could also use it as kind of a Siberia. We can exile people to Greenland.
Who would be at the top of your list to exile to Greenland?
Well, you look at there's a lot of choices. Shifty Schiff we could send. We could send Chris Christie to Greenland. He could be the biggest snowman in the history of the world. He looks like a polar bear, so he'd fit right in. Jiggly Belly Pritzker, we could send him there. Tim Walz, because he's going to have problems. We could send him there. We could send a lot of people there.
You could actually. That's probably you could put a little detention.
Gilmar Abrego Garcia.
Deport him to Greenland.
We could send him to Greenland too, because then we're not deporting him. He's still in our country, but he's being exiled to Greenland. We'll see if he likes it there.
What's there to do in Greenland, Mr.
There's
President?
nothing to do but freeze. You freeze you know what's off. And you mine the resources, and you keep an eye on Russia, you keep an eye on China, and you play in the snow. So there's not much to do there, but we could exile Kilmar. We could exile him to Greenland. He's not used to cold places. He wants to go to Costa Rica, but we're going to send him to Greenland instead.
I hear the beaches leave a little bit to be desired in Greenland.
Well, they're not too great. They're not as nice as the beaches in South Florida, but they're beautiful beaches with beautiful people. The Greenland people love me a lot. They're Trump fans from day one. They're Trump fans, and they want us to take over Greenland. They want our military. They want our protection. And they want me to be their president instead of the stupid king of Denmark or whoever the hell he is. He's a very stupid person.
Your helicopter is warming up. I think the foreign minister of Greenland is visiting with Vice President Vance. Are you going to poke your head into that meeting?
Well, we could look at it. And by the way, the leading candidate to be the next Duke of Greenland is Marco Rubio.
Of course, the Duke of
Tremendous
Greenland.
Guy.
And on that note, Mr. President, thanks for joining us. And Sean Farash, can you stick around, Sean?
Of course we can.
All right. We'll be back with Sean Farash after this.
Hi folks, John Fredericks here for Freedom Alliance. Veterans are still struggling with the wounds of war. They came home with injuries that changed them forever. The flag-burning troublemakers in our streets remind me how fortunate we are to have patriots who served and fought, sacrificed, and never complained. We need to support them through organizations like the Freedom Alliance. It's Military Appreciation Month and time to support those who serve. Freedom Alliance is caring for combat veterans and military families. Combat veterans fought in the worst, most dangerous places on earth. Freedom Alliance takes them to nature's most most relaxing locations so they can heal. Freedom Alliance gives injured troops mortgage-free homes, new cars, and all-terrain wheelchairs. For wounded vets, there's nothing like the stability of your own home, the reinsurance of a reliable vehicle, or the independence of a wheelchair that navigates snow, ice, beach, pasture, or most any terrain. Let's fight for those who fought for us. Go to freedomalliance.org/Godzilla and make a monthly gift that will improve the life of a military hero. That's freedomalliance.org/Godzilla. Make a contribution today.
If you're like me, most moms find it difficult to prioritize self-care. Hi, it's Colleen, Program Director at the John Fredericks Media Network. With the demands of programming 13 radio stations, it's easy to forget about the things I should do for myself daily. And that's why I started with our company's Women's Challenge with Native Path Collagen Peptides. It's affordable and convenient care in just 1 scoop a day. There are so many incredible health benefits like bone and joint support, metabolism booster, and hair, skin, and nail improvement. I like to take a moment each day to prioritize myself and indulge in the health-boosting benefits of Native Path Collagen Peptides. I love mixing it up with all the different smoothie recipes, too. Learn more about Native Path Collagen Peptides and read 7 important reasons why you should be taking collagen peptides at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Prioritize your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today and get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
Target.com. Target.com is an online e-commerce tire retailer. We are here to serve the American public with the best possible customer service, the best pricing, and we make it extremely easy. We have many name brands and a lot of low-cost tires. The price is right, and it's easy. You go online to Target.com, Tireget.com, Target.com. You go there, you put your zip code in, all the inventory displays right in front of you. You can call in for help if you want to. We'll help you get the tire that you need. But we will take the tires you buy and at no extra charge deliver them to the dealer right by your house where they will be installed at the market price. It's easy. The best price, the best service. Great people to deal with. Thank you for going to Target.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. President Trump has gone back to the White House, but here in studio, the greatest Trump impersonator in the world, Sean Farash. Sean, let's talk a little NFL.
I like it.
Because big changes among the coaches.
Yeah. Yesterday,
Mike Tomlin, after 19 years as the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, where he has a 620 winning percentage, has won a Super Bowl, has never had a losing season, has lost like 7 consecutive playoff games, however, announced that he is resigning as head coach. That was a bit of a surprise, but let's just say the performance of the Steelers in the fourth quarter of that playoff game against Houston Texans, they entered the fourth quarter down 7-6. They lost 30-6.
Yeah.
It was not a good look.
No, it wasn't. Tomlin's still a great coach. I think what you're dealing with in Pittsburgh is they need a new voice, and that doesn't happen often, as you said, 19 years. So, they've had 3 head coaches over the last, I don't know how many
Since
years.
1969.
Yeah, they had Noel.
Chuck Noel.
Then Bill Cowher. And then Mike
10
Tomlin.
years, and Mike Tomlin.
So whoever the next coach is, be prepared to stay a while. Pittsburgh doesn't like to fire head coaches. It's one of their ways to attract the top tier of coaching. Because somebody who's signing up to be the head coach of Pittsburgh Steelers knows they're probably not going to get fired after 2 years. They're going to give you a long time to try and figure things out.
They haven't fired a head coach since 1968.
Yeah. So the Steelers.
That's unheard of.
Then that turned the organization around. So Tomlin out, and I'll tell you what: if I'm John Harbaugh. That's where I'm looking. I'm looking at it. Why not?
The Ravens fired Harbaugh.
Yep.
They owe him $30 million for 2
So
years.
what would be the best way to, and maybe he's not a spiteful guy. I am. So what would be the best way to stick it to the organization that's going to be, not only now they're going to be paying you tens of millions of dollars over the next couple of years, but to coach against a team in the division, your bitter rivals, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Oh, man, that would be the best. So the storylines that would come from that would be just tremendous.
And Harbaugh won a Super Bowl. He was there 18 years. He had an 8-9 record this year, but they did make the playoffs because a rookie kicker missed a 44-yard field goal.
Tough game for Tyler Loop.
It was a tough
dude.
game.
Tough play. I mean, that's just. I feel so bad for Tyler Loop. I don't know how he comes back from that, but hopefully he's mentally tough enough to do it because he's got the ability.
Yeah, it's a tough
rookie.
It was a tough environment for that day. But having said all that, I mean, if you're Harbaugh and you want to stick it to the Ravens that just fired you after 18 years, I mean, you sign like a 5-year contract with the Steelers, and basically the next 2 years you make it the $15 million a year that the Ravens owe you.
Yeah.
And then the 3 years after that, you do something ridiculous and get a huge signing bonus.
Yep. Yeah. Well, it's funny. The longest tenured head coach right now in the AFC North is the coach of the Bengals, and I don't even know who it is.
And
but
Zach,
the Browns,
Zach Johnson, Zach
something.
Zach
but
somebody.
the Browns don't have a head coach right now. The Steelers don't have a head coach right now, and the Ravens don't have a head coach right now, which is wild. That 3 out of the 4 teams in the AFC North are currently head coachless, which is wild.
So, President Trump wants the New York Giants to sign Harbaugh.
You know, it's interesting. President Trump, Mr. I'm close with Woody Johnson. Where's his advice for the New York Jets?
Well, they haven't fired their coach yet.
Well, they should. You got now 2 top-tier candidates on the market. Now, Tomlin, there's rumors that he's going to TV.
If I'm Tomlin, I think what he's saying is he wants to take a year or so off because, 19 years being a head coach in the NFL, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
If he winds up on TV, he'd do very well there. He speaks in sound bites.
Yeah.
The guy speaks in actual, so he would do really well on TV. But if I'm the Jets, my goodness, you have 2 guys now potentially on the market, Tomlin and Harbaugh, and you're telling me you'd rather have Aaron Glenn? Why?
Well,
what did he do for you in the 2025 season?
He won, 3 or 4? How many
3
games?
games.
3 games. 3 and 14.
They made history.
Yeah.
Okay? 0 interceptions on defense. And the team on X last week had the nerve to post a tweet that said, we made history this year. We're the first team since 2023 to start all 5 of the same offensive linemen all year long. Congratulations. What did it do for you? You won 3 games. You're picking second in the draft. You don't want to do that. That only happens if you had a really bad year. And their best performance was week 1, and they regressed ever since their first game of the season. Why do you want to keep a head coach like that? I have no idea. Woody Johnson, this guy, where is that advice from his dear friend Donald Trump to hire John Harbaugh?
Let me just say this. Trump knows Woody Johnson, and they're friends.
Yeah.
He knows what he's good at.
He should exile Woody Johnson to Greenland.
I think he knows Woody Johnson is a bad owner.
I hope so.
I think he knows that, right?
He needs to sell the team.
He's almost as bad as Amy Strunk here is.
With the Titans?
Right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Amy Adams Strunk. Really a bad owner. And yet, John Harbaugh is apparently going to interview with the New York Giants, the Tennessee Titans, and the Atlanta Falcons.
What about the Dolphins? They're not on the list yet?
I don't see them on the list. I thought that would be the logical place for him to go.
It sounded like it was going to be a little while ago, but now... I mean, they fired McDaniel after Harbaugh came on the market, so he's obviously their target. They're not firing McDaniel after Harbaugh, emerged on the market because they're going after Mike McCarthy.
So
right?
It would be great for the Titans as an organization if they were to hire Harbaugh to a long-term contract.
Right.
I don't think he's interested.
I don't think so either. If I was Harbaugh, I wouldn't be.
You know why he's showing up? For leverage.
Right. On these other teams, yeah.
Yeah. Because the problem is he looks at this as, okay, I can only coach the talent that I have.
Right.
Right? And the Titans have demonstrated that they don't have the ability to assess talent.
That's right. Same with the Jets.
They just don't.
They just don't have the ability. And there's plenty of good evaluators of talent out there. I happen to think very highly of Antonio Cromartie, the former Jets cornerback. He's great. I follow him on X. He knows his stuff. He's got a very high football IQ. He can, evaluate talent. There's people like that out there. It's just that these teams, I feel like these teams kind of do what politicians do, where they hire these like highly paid consultants.
Yeah.
And these consultants, throw their friends a bone and say, hey, you should hire this guy. And this guy knows what he's talking about. And the team goes out. That's how the Jets found Darren Glenn. They hired Mike Tannenbaum, their former general manager. And he has this agency that, conducted the Jets coaching search and GM search and all this. And look where it wound up. It's just a shame.
I think Harbaugh, I mean, it would be great for Nashville if he came to Tennessee, but
I don't think so.
I think it'll be Matt Nagy or some of these some retread.
Right. Careful.
Sorry, Matt.
Yeah.
Some retread who's.
Well, you say retread, it almost sounded like you were talking about Tim Walz. Close. Very close. Yeah, it'll probably be some guy who's had his, could be like a Kevin Stefanski type.
Yeah.
Not a bad coach, but not a great coach.
I'll say this, actually. I think the guy who would probably be the most likely to make something decent happen in Tennessee is Mike McDaniel.
Oh, the Dolphins former. Yeah, why not?
See, here's the problem in Miami. And they were doing well with Tua before he had the concussion problem.
Yeah.
He has not been the same quarterback since.
No, how could he be after taking that many hits?
And so, and McDaniel ended up realizing that.
Yeah.
And they actually, did okay with Quinn Ewers, a 7th-round draft pick. But Tua, and I love the guy. He's a great guy. But, he's not been the same quarterback since the concussions. And Tua, you need to be thinking, this is my suggestion, he really ought to retire.
He should.
Because he's not going to, it's not going to get better.
No, and you don't want to take a risk with CTE and all of what happens, 10 years, 20 years from now.
Now, the money is fabulous.
It is.
But he's got enough money.
Yeah, and if you're smart with it, you don't need to really worry.
Yeah.
Too much anymore.
Yeah, I mean, that level of money is really something.
Yeah.
Okay. Which team is the first to hire somebody? There's like 8 openings. This is usually there's 5 to 7 openings. Who's going to be who's the first to get hired?
Las Vegas Raiders, Mike McCarthy.
That's a good fit.
Yeah.
It didn't work out with Pete Carroll, but Pete, and he was 73?
He's getting up there.
He's
finally starting to show it, too.
Yeah.
He's been one of the oldest head coaches in the league, but he's been spry, and he runs around the sideline. Father Time is undefeated.
Mike McCarthy would be a really good
to the
fit.
Raiders.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And that would be the first choice.
I think
so. How could you work for a team whose 70-year-old owner has a mullet for a haircut?
I don't know. But you know what? Here, see, the Jets should have hired Mike McCarthy back when they hired Adam Gase. McCarthy actually said he wanted to come there because they had Darnold, they had this whole thing, and they didn't. And they went with Adam Gase, and then they went with Saleh, and then they went to Aaron Glenn. They should have hired McCarthy to stabilize the organization. And they didn't. I would bring him in now, but again, Glenn.
Last question. Let's go to college.
Okay.
Monday night, I think it's Monday night, Indiana University.
It is Monday night, yeah.
Miami. Indiana is favored by 8 points.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Indiana's going to win that game.
You think?
Miami's going to play a very spirited game, but I don't think there is a better complete team in college football right now than the Indiana Hoosiers.
And Kurt Cignetti is
He's doing a hell of a job.
Is the new Nick Saban, right?
Yeah. He has done, and he turned that place around in 2 years.
And basically he said, look, we have a series of 6-second plays.
Yep.
Do your best in 6 seconds, and then go on and do it again.
Yep.
And again.
And there's no 5-star recruits on that team.
There you go.
And they're unbelievable.
When we come back, Stephen Miller has a few words to say. Back after this.
EJ Haast here, founder of the Digital Footprint Management Agency and frequent guest on the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, here to tell you about GetFoundEverywhere.com. Customers are searching for your business everywhere: Google, Apple Maps, TikTok, and new AI platforms like ChatGPT and Gemini, which is a total disruptor. Traditional search engine optimization isn't dead, but it is on life support. Old tactics don't work anymore. So how can you make your business stand out? GetFoundEverywhere.com makes your business pop on over 50 search, map, review, and AI-driven platforms. With one easy dashboard, manage business profiles, social media accounts, direct messages, even texts and reviews. GetFoundEverywhere.com is affordable, boosts your visibility, and gets your business more customers. It's time to step up your game the easy way. Save time, save money, and get more customers with GetFoundEverywhere.com.
This is State Senator Mark Pouty. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pouty.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pouty, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of Glockstore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at Glockstore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at Glockstore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
My fellow Americans, my good friends, I've known them for a long time, at D.T. McCall & Sons have the deal of a lifetime for you, and nobody knows deals like I do. That much I can tell you. Nobody knows deals like I do. The lumber yards, they can hit you with hidden charges for up to $200 extra. They'll charge you for cords and hoses and haul-offs. Your money goes all over the place and out of the state, and most importantly, out of your pockets. How do they get away with that? I don't know how they do that, but on day one, if you buy from McCall's, we are going to stop the hidden charges as soon as you buy it. D.T. McCall & Sons has locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, and they have been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years. Head to one of their stores today or check them out at dtmccalls.com. You're going to love it, believe me. Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. In studio, the very best Trump impersonator in the world, the one, the only Sean Farash. It is, in fact, Trump Day.
It is Trump Day.
It is Trump Day.
I love Trump Day.
I'm
going to do some bird watching.
I'm going to start off. We're going to get to Stephen Miller. But I want to start off with Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Oh, yes.
Talking about what Trump eats.
Mm-hmm.
It's hilarious.
I love it.
Here we go. Let's play this clip right now.
Who has the most unhinged eating habits?
The president. The interesting thing about the president is that he eats really bad food, which is McDonald's, and then, candy and Diet Coke. But he drinks the Diet Coke all times. He has the constitution of a deity. I don't know how he's alive, but he is. And he's at Mar-a-Lago. He says that the only time that he eats the junk food is when he's on the road, and he wants to eat food from big corporations because he trusts it. He doesn't want to get sick when he's on the road. But when he's at Mar-a-Lago or at the White House, he's eating really good food. So I think you get this, if you travel with him, you get this idea that he's just pumping himself full of poison all day long, and you don't know how he's walking around, much less being the most energetic person, any of us have ever met.
Yeah. But the other thing about the president is, Dr. Oz said this, Well, they've got his testosterone levels back.
Yeah.
He has the highest level of testosterone of a guy in his 70s that he's ever seen.
I heard that too. And Trump made Dr. Oz say that.
Made him say that. Yeah.
If Dr. Oz didn't say that, it would have been like when, a soccer team lost under Saddam Hussein. You never would have seen them again. So I thought that was funny. And the whole McDonald's thing, Bobby, when he sees Trump eating a Big Mac, he's sitting there like cringing, right?
Totally cringing.
It's funny.
And Trump really enjoys eating that Big Mac in front of Bobby.
Because he knows what he's
doing.
Bobby, look.
Look.
I'm eating a Big Mac, Bobby. He's like, ugh.
You know what he's saying is basically saying, Bobby, I'm the boss.
Right. Yeah, I made it this far, Bobby. Right? That's funny though. What Kennedy said. It's good stuff.
Well, and the whole, he's got more testosterone than anybody in his 70s. That whole thing, that's part of the branding.
Yes.
That's part of the American Don Roe doctrine.
That's what it is.
Right?
Yes.
It's the it's the fights.
Alpha Trump.
Yeah. Alpha Trump everywhere.
Yeah.
It's just hilarious. Now, you know who channels that very well is Stephen Miller.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen has a message for all the ICE agents out there. Here we go. Let's hear it.
To all ICE officers, you have federal immunity in the conduct of your duties. And anybody who lays a hand on you or tries to stop you or tries to obstruct you is committing a felony. You have immunity to perform your duties, and no one, no city official, no state official, no illegal alien, no leftist agitator or domestic insurrectionist can prevent you from fulfilling your legal obligations and duties. And the Department of Justice has made clear that if officials cross that line into obstruction, into criminal conspiracy against the United States or against ICE officers, then they will face justice.
Okay, he's not mincing around, is he?
No, and he's right too. There's a statute. It's 18 U.S. Code Section 111, which some people have been charged with recently, which is you're obstructing or impeding a federal officer. It's at a bare minimum punishable by up to a year in prison, but there are enhancements that can take it to 8 or 20 years. If you're using deadly force, it is a potential 20-year sentence. If you're using a weapon or you're physically resisting or impeding these officers, you can serve up to 8 years. So he's right. Stephen Miller's right. There's a statute that people can be and should be charged under if they are impeding or interfering with ICE operations. And even if it's the bottom of the totem pole of those sentencing guidelines, it's still up to a year in jail, and they should be charged.
The ICE officer who shot Renee Nicole Good when she was aiming and accelerating her SUV at him, and he was, she was aiming directly at him. The report is that he actually suffered internal bleeding from the hit.
Oh, you don't say.
That he received, and you saw that clearly that he was hit by the vehicle.
Yeah,
and he didn't really shoot her until after he was hit.
Right. So here's a very easy way to survive an encounter with law enforcement, okay? Don't give law enforcement any reason to believe that you're a threat to their life.
Yeah.
When we were swatted, that was priority number one. Before we came out of the house, Brennan and I sat down. I said to her, we're going to make no sudden movements. We're going to wait for instructions.
Yes.
We're going to do everything that they say. We're going to
yes,
do everything that they say. Yes,
nothing,
sir. Yes, ma'am.
Except yes, sir, and do exactly what they say.
And then once they realize that there's no threat here, then we can start asking some questions and figuring out what the next steps are going to be. We give them no reason to believe that we're a threat. And that's what we did. And we had several officers with guns pointed at us, right? And
that's a scary thing, isn't it?
It was very scary.
Yeah.
But it's also at that time, you're saying, okay, those are the ones, these people, they have their guns drawn. They want to go home tonight. We want to come home tonight. So let's just go through the motions here calmly, and then we'll figure out the next steps because they're going to realize we're not a threat, and then the tension will drop. And that's what happened. They cleared the house. They came out. It's okay. We think, this obviously was a hoax. There was no double homicide in your bedroom, anything like that. It was crazy.
There's, I think, a trend of FAFO testosterone within the Trump administration.
And there should be.
In everything. It's the assertion of the Don Roe doctrine.
Yeah.
It's the capture of Maduro. And apparently, according to reports, hundreds of Cuban agents who were defending Maduro were killed, and not a single one.
And by the way, why were Cubans doing that?
Yeah. Well,
why were Cuban security forces defending the president of Venezuela in Venezuela? Why? And does anyone want to ask that one? Because that's a weird one.
Yeah,
to me.
yeah. But the other thing is the assertion of the control of Greenland, foreign policy being very aggressive.
Oh, very aggressive.
Right.
Iran strikes, and we may do it again.
Probably inside. They're trying to figure out how to do it.
Right.
Get in, get out.
Right.
And that's a more complicated situation,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be surprising to me if we saw something. The other thing, too, it's sort of like don't push your luck sometimes, because the U.S. military has had 2 spectacularly successful in and out missions.
Right. Venezuela and Iran.
And now don't get over your skis. And this is the Iran situation now is more complicated than either of those. So
100%.
I don't know what they're going to do on that.
I don't know.
But
I don't know if it's just a threat and posturing and trying to get the Ayatollah to crawl out of his cave with however many goats he has in the cave, and and flee to Moscow. I don't know.
That FAFO testosterone that apparently everybody in the Trump administration has. It's not only with Secretary of Treasury Bessent,
yes,
and it's gone over to the Supreme Court as well. Let's start with Secretary Bessent about fraud. It's not just Minnesota. Clip number 8.
I want to echo your statements because as I spend time here, it is good to be back in Minnesota, Minneapolis. I am hopeful too, because even though it is cold outside, sunshine is the best antiseptic, and we are going to clean this out. We are going to stop it. We are going to make recoveries, and as Jennifer said, we are going to get the money flowing back to people like her organization who help the children, seniors. So I am very hopeful that we will right the ship and that we will emanate out from Minnesota into the other 49 states.
Boom.
And fair enough.
Okay, so here's the thing. He's also said 10% of federal spending has been stolen through fraud.
Mm-hmm. It's probably higher.
That's amazing.
It's probably higher.
And we're seeing it right now.
Yeah.
And so, I wouldn't mess around.
Oh, you don't mess around with Scott Bessent. He has been an all-star. I think underrated. You talk about Vance, Rubio, Gabbard, Ratcliffe. These have been good. Hegseth.
Yeah.
Right? Department of War. But Scott Bessent has been phenomenal managing the tariffs and all of that. So
the
don't
Trump
mess with him.
Administration, FAFO testosterone, has apparently gone from the White House
it's been
over
contagious.
to the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
It's contagious. And Justice Alito has some of it because this was his questioning of the attorneys who were trying to explain why, in their view, boys should be able to participate in girls' sports. Let's play this clip from Justice Alito in the oral arguments yesterday at the Supreme Court.
Girls. Yes, Your Honor. If it does that, then is it not necessary for there to be, for equal protection purposes, if that is challenged under the Equal Protection Clause, an understanding of what it means to be a boy or a girl or a man or a woman? Yes, Your Honor. And what is that definition? For equal protection purposes, what does it mean to be a boy or a girl or a man or a woman? Sorry, I misunderstood your question. I think that the underlying enactment, whatever it was, the policy, the law, we'd have to have an understanding of how the state or the government was understanding that term to figure out whether or not someone was excluded. We do not have a definition for the court. And we don't take issue with we're not disputing the definition here. What we're saying is that the way it applies in practice is to exclude birth-sex males categorically from women's teams, and that there's a subset of those birth-sex males where it doesn't make sense to do so according to the state's own interest. Well, how can a court determine whether there's discrimination on the basis of sex without knowing what sex means?
Okay. Boom. That's what you call a Supreme Court mic drop.
Mic drop.
Yeah.
I mean, and the same thing can be said about Ketanji Brown Jackson, who
please.
Not too long ago, said she can't define what a woman is because she's not a biologist. That's like me saying, Michael, I can't define what rain is because I'm not a meteorologist. I have no idea what rain. Falling water, I have no idea. What is rain? I have no idea.
liquid precipitation, right? This is her now, Ketanji yesterday spoke in word salads, trying to defend these people who want these bans to go away, these bans on males and female sports. But she already admitted she doesn't know what a male or a female is. Same with this woman. And Alito is right. I mean, that's the line of questioning that the entire thing crumbles down to. How can you say men should be allowed in women's sports when you can't even define what a man or a woman is? It's ridiculous. And the fact that we're arguing this at the Supreme Court is a real indictment of where we are, isn't it? That we have to have the Supreme Court, the highest court in the country, make a determination on whether males should be competing against females in athletics. It's ridiculous.
I think if you wanted to define what the Trump second administration is doing, it is combining common sense with FAFO testosterone.
Yes, I think so.
And it's about time.
It is. It is definitely about time. It's nice to see. And I want more birds, by the way. I want a whole flock of birds. Let's do it. Let's do it.
When we come back, it'll be time for News Potpourri. Sean Farash, the very best Trump impersonator in the world, is here in studio on Trump Day, Hump Day Wednesday. Back after this.
Tom Carmichael, CEO of Soul Tea, a supplement to help you have a healthier heart and stronger cardiovascular system. At Soul Tea, we regularly get emails from our customers telling us how Soul Tea has helped them. Like this one from Kelly. Hello, I'm 58 years old and have had high cholesterol for years. I wanted to stay away from prescription drugs. My husband and I have been using Soul Tea for about 13 months. My results have been amazing. My cholesterol levels went from 291 to 129. I am so impressed with Soul Tea and want to thank you. Now, in my own case, my bad cholesterol dropped from 130 to 89, and that was 20 years ago. I'm 75 years old and I take 0 prescription drugs. To get a great deal on Soul Tea, please go to GodzillaHeart.com, and when you check out, use the code Godzilla to get our best deal, which is 50% off your first shipment and then 3 bottles for the price of 2 thereafter. You don't have to live with a broken heart.
Do you suffer from
Try
declining
Soul Tea
bone and
today.
joint health? Hi, it's Tina with the John Fredericks Media Network. And when I heard about our company's Women's Challenge, I jumped on the opportunity to test this amazing supplement that's already restoring my bone density, soothing my joint pain, and helping me regain lost mobility. I've experienced so many benefits in such a short time with Native Path Collagen Peptides because they support my bones and joints, boost my metabolism, and unleash the most radiant skin and hair since my 20s. In just 2 weeks, my knee stiffness is gone, and I'm already hitting the gym more aggressively. And I get so many compliments on my glowy skin and shiny hair. Native Path Collagen Peptides are so easy to take. They're tasteless, odorless, and mix great with my morning coffee. Read thousands of 5-star reviews at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Level up your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today. And get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. In studio, the one, the only, Sean Farash. Sean, it's that time of day again. It's time for News Potpourri. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, News Potpourri. This is the portion of the program we talk about those stories that are of note, don't necessarily merit a full segment, and may have a touch of
irony.
I think the adjective to describe this next clip is maybe pathos or something like that.
Huh.
It's the father of the woman who was killed by an ICE agent, Renee Good. Her maiden name, I think, is Gaines or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
The father was on CNN, and they tried to get him to condemn ICE. Let's see what happened. Clip 25.
No, nothing about charges or anything like that, just an investigation into what happened in terms of the ICE agents' actions. But they were, according to the prosecutors resigning today, pressuring them to investigate Renee's actions and Becca, her wife's actions. How do you feel about all that?
Well, I'm not blaming anybody. I mean, it's a hard situation all the way around. It's hard for for everybody involved. I mean, the ICE agent, at first I didn't see the footage where, he was actually, he was actually being ran. I mean, I seen the bump of the car hitting his legs. And so in a flash like that, it's hard to say how you would react. From my understanding that he had been through that before, maybe dragged or something. And so, like I said, it's just a hard situation for everybody. Becca, she's a great person as well. I mean, I don't have any enemies. I love everybody. And that's what the Bible tells us, love our neighbors as we love ourselves. But, I think there's some bad choices. And the word says, for the wrath of God will come upon the children of disobedience. And,
so they tried to get him to blame. Apparently, I had that wrong. It's the father of the late husband, of her late husband. So that's her second husband,
sure.
Father. Notice that the CNN talking head referred to Becca Good,
right,
as her wife. There's no evidence.
There's no marriage, right? There was no.
They changed the name, but there's no no legal marriage.
Yeah, there was no legal marriage on that, and it's interesting. CNN, obviously, they're trying to spin up this narrative.
Oh yeah,
they're trying to make it George Floyd 2.0. It's not going to work because the racial element is missing.
Yeah,
there are even people saying you can't even use the phrase "say her name," talking about Renee Good, because that phrase is, and I directly quote, is reserved for black women. You can't say her name in reference to Renee Good because she's not black. So
That's
this
crazy.
is we're just back in segregation. What's the difference between saying you can't use that water fountain, right? I mean, it's disgusting.
Did you see the story here in Nashville? It's a very sad story. A 20-year-old basketball player at Fisk University was killed on I-65 in a drive-by shooting. That just happened a couple days ago.
Did not hear about that.
Yeah.
No, that's so sad.
Very terrible.
Good news out of Tennessee, though. Apparently, they're requiring thousands of CDL drivers to submit proof of citizenship.
Yeah.
That's good news.
Yeah, because in California, apparently you go to the front of the line if you're an illegal alien.
Yeah.
To get and then you go to the front of the line if you can't read or speak English.
Right. Well, in New York, you don't have to give your name. They were giving CDLs out to people called No Name Given, which is great.
Mr. Given,
yeah.
Mr. Given,
Mr. Given,
paging Mr. Given.
Right. Yeah. Given, comma, no name. Are you here? It's like that's that game from Impractical Jokers where they would come up with a fake name in a room full of people to see if they would laugh at it. Cranjus McBasketball. Is she here? Just insane.
You follow the actor Timothy Buskirk. Timothy is guy. He played the brother-in-law in Field of Dreams.
Okay.
He was in 30-something. He was also what else was this guy in?
Field of Dreams is what I would know. He's the redhead.
Yeah, the redhead guy. And then he was on West Wing.
Tried to get Ray to sell the farm.
Yeah.
Drops the girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ray, don't sell this farm.
Ray, don't sell this farm.
After he sees.
You cannot sell this farm. Yeah. Right.
That guy. He's been charged with child abuse.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, he abused the girl and Field of Dreams. Maybe he wasn't acting, right?
Well,
the daughter.
And he's married to Melissa Gilbert.
Okay.
Who is the Little House on the Prairie girl.
Okay.
Basically, a couple of 11-year-olds at a movie he was directing claimed he touched them inappropriately.
That's not a surprise.
He's saying, "I will fight these charges. I am innocent." And Melissa is standing by her man. So
okay. We'll see how that plays out.
Yeah.
Something about that industry and that being very common just is very unsettling.
It is. So you saw the report that Somalis had flown like $700 million in cash out of the Minneapolis airport.
In suitcases.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, wherever there's a Somali community, there's a story about millions of dollars in cash flying out of the local airport.
That's racist. You can't talk about that. That's Islamophobic and that's racist. You know, so what? If the Jubba Value Center in Columbus, Ohio is tasked to audit these daycare centers, everyone dreads the day you get audited by the Jubba Value Center, by the way. That's the one letter I don't want to get in.
There's a report here at
Jubba's after me.
At Citizen Free Press, Somalis have sent $136 million in cash out of the Columbus, Ohio airport in passenger suitcases.
There you go. Same deal.
There you go. You like that?
Interesting. You know, birds of a feather. Back to birds again. Birds of a feather, right? They're all doing the same type of deal. Somehow it's coordinated. You can't tell me all these lukewarm IQ Somalis came up with all these wonderful ideas by themselves, right? The bug people, right? Bug people.
Hey, we have no state income tax in Tennessee.
Yes.
The smart states are copying us. The latest, Missouri.
Nice, Missouri. Nice job.
They're going to go for no state income tax.
I think Ohio is on their radar too. I know that was part of Vivek's.
Vivek is going to cut it down. But
he's going to cut it down, but I think his goal is to get rid of it.
I think it's a good goal.
Yeah.
The problem in Ohio, and we have a lot of friends in Ohio, they have a full-time state legislature. And whenever you have a full-time state legislature,
someone's got to pay for it.
They are interested in expanding government.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
That's the issue.
Sean Farash.
All right.
The greatest Trump impersonator in the world. It's Trump Day, Hump Day. Thanks for joining us today. We'll see you next week.
Always a good time.
All right. Up next, Rob Carson. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock Central Time. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy. The website, TennesseeStar.com. Thanks for joining us.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com. Listen to Michael Patrick Leahy and make America great again.
FlatFeeNashville.com is a full-service real estate brokerage that charges homeowners a upfront flat fee of $999 to completely list, market, and sell your home. We are all about saving consumers money, saving that equity. Nobody should hire an agent and feel like when that agent walks in the door, that agent is more concerned about the down payment on their next Mercedes purchase versus saving the equity that those homeowners have worked hard for. I've spent my entire career in ensuring that the equity that people save and they put into their monthly mortgage every single month as much of that as we possibly can goes back to them when they go to list and sell that home. The idea is to give homeowners the ability to really create generational wealth.
Flatfeenashville.com, flatfeenashville.com.